It's November 24th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A marvelous Monday. Blink and you missed it. Jeremy Lambert is here after a busy weekend. We're back, baby. I haven't slept well in days, but I'm here, and I'm here for you. How you doing, pal?
Whose fault is that you haven't slept well?
My kid?
Always blaming the kid. Come on.
I feel like I can get away with that. I don't know why. I didn't sleep well last night. I went to bed at 10:45, and I didn't fall asleep till 11:30, and I woke up at 1:30. Then I woke up at 3:30, and then I woke up at 5:30, and it was just one thing after another. I just kept waking up, and I just could not sleep very well. So here I am.
I went to bed at like 4 on Saturday. And then I went to sleep at like 2 last night. So yeah, here I went to bed at 11 and woke up here. Like waking up, I was still up at these times.
I mean, I don't
always, sleep.
Is thinking about the emotional stakes of Swerve and his return. I was thinking about how many steaks he ate just to get emotionally invested in coming back to that size. My God, we'll get to it.
Yeah, I don't sleep. So like I just stay awake. I am awake. I'm like Matt Cardona, always awake. That's his saying, right?
Yeah. Do you use the Z?
Z?
I'm a Canadian, Jeremy.
I don't know what that is.
Always Z ready. Zed's dead, baby.
Oh. Why is the headline? Why is the title for this? Are people talking about AEW Full Gear? Am I missing something?
In a couple of days.
Oh,
so it is twofold, and we will get into it. Listen, it's not a super duper like. Listen, did we get a little crafty with the headline? Absolutely, we do. Do we want people to watch the show because of the SEO? Absolutely, we do. Is it a rage bait? I don't think it is, and it's not a clickbait, and I don't want people to think it is because I'm not going to sit here and be like the show sucked. I don't think the show sucked, and I watched it in its entirety, not in one sitting, because I'm a perfectly sane human being whose job is not to watch the entire show in one sitting. But the reason I brought it up is because I did see a few people, myself included, I didn't see as much activity as maybe I would have expected on a social media level. That's not to say it didn't exist. That's just to say it was a talking point that I think was pretty relevant coming from a bunch of people in wrestling media. And I'm not talking haters. I'm talking people who are level-headed that I listen to that aren't pieces of garbage humans talking about like, it felt like maybe it was a little lighter on socials. So I thought it was an interesting conversation. And I went digging in Google Analytics, and it's been a little bit tougher to find just because I don't have like a proper Social Blade or a proper Hootsuite account to really dig in. But I saw a little bit here and there. And it's not disparaging towards AEW because we saw they had a great turnout. The show was really good. The outcome has got people talking because Dynamite looks like there's going to be stuff happening beyond just the start of the C2. Like you have some stories to move forward. Overall, I thought it was a good conversation to have because it felt like maybe people weren't talking about it in the moment, and they're probably going to talk about it, to end the year. And we're also getting into the holidays, so maybe people weren't just as invested in sitting around talking about it on socials.
Okay, all right. It's going to do its usual 100,000 buys because that's what Dave says every AEW pay-per-view does. No matter what, it does 120,000 buys, and it did 10,000. We'll talk about the show. I thought people were talking about it as usual, as much as people talk about AEW. So I do have a banner though. It is AEW specific, and it'll let you know what I'm thinking of when we get into our review. We got to rally for the Hangman.
It's over, though. It's over. AEW's done. It's finished. No. It's done. We can't.
We got to rally for him. We can't.
Because Hangman lost, no one's going to tune in. No one's going to like it anymore. It's over.
No, we have to rally for him because this was a travesty what happened in that main event, and we got to rally for Hangman Page. Poll question for today. Folks, I have it. It is a legitimate poll question. Are you talking about AEW Full Gear? Favorites? I think I froze. Did I freeze? Am I good?
No, you're here.
Okay.
It should be, why does Tony Khan hate Hangman? And then Fora he does.
All right. Favorite part of AEW Full Gear. We're going to go Samoa Joe winning the title / Swerve return.
Spoilers.
I mean, I don't have enough characters. Okay. We're just going to say Samoa Joe Swerve. Everyone hopefully knows what that means. I can't type in the full Samoa Joe winning Swerve return. Samoa Joe Swerve, Mercedes stat, Elite reunion, and blood. Just all of the blood.
Blood.
Yes. That is the poll for today, folks. What was your favorite part of AEW Full Gear? Again, we only get 4 options, so we group Samoa Joe winning the title / Swerve's return, Chris Statlander against Mercedes Moné, the Elite reunion, or just all of the blood. If you have another option that you liked more, maybe it was Ricochet winning the national title, then you can put that in the chat as well. Maybe Grace says FTR Brodito, that's fine. Trent shoving the Costco kid, yeah, maybe the Costco cutter could be there as well. So yeah,
can I call it the Costco cutter?
That's what I just called it.
That's what they should be calling it. They should be calling it that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if that was your favorite part, put that in the chat. But we only have 4 options, so those are the 4 that I think are the top 4 moments from the show. So that's what I'm going with.
Wow, can't believe you buried Mark Briscoe that way.
Yeah, Mark Briscoe, Kyle Fletcher, maybe that way. I mean, that had blood, so that kind of is included in there, right?
It did have blood. I feel like you can throw a dart and there was blood in a match. Usually because the dart was used as a weapon in the match to draw blood, but that's just it. There was a lot that happened on the show.
Why, people stop yelling at me over this poll. I get 4 choices, everybody. I get 4 choices. Yell at YouTube. Gosh, it's too early to be yelled at.
That's why you just don't pay attention to the chat ever. Don't listen to that.
Fair.
Although, chat, if you want to leave a super chat, you can do that. Go ahead. That will listen to you for your money. Also, you can leave a thumbs up because we actually really like the chat, and leave a thumbs up or else. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We need the pyro and the stuff. We did it in backwards order today because this whole show is backwards. So go ahead, thumbs up, do it. Come on, yeah, that's right. Thumbs us. And subscribe and donate a super chat if you want. A big shout out to our pal Ken. If you saw it at the start of the show, yes. If you blinked and you missed it, Ken did in fact stay true to his word. I'm gonna get I gotta get the photo so we could show it to the world for those who may have missed it. The man did what he said he would do. He got behind the camera, got behind the announcers, and shabam, there it is.
Look how excited Ken is to be promoting In the Weeds.
So Ken, I am speaking directly to you for a second. Did a cameraman look at you and basically give you the Iggy to put it down? Because it looked like you were like, should I do it? Should I do it? It looked like
he says.
Sure. Dizzy? Because I don't have the
honorable mention, yours truly getting the Undertaker throat slash from AEW production when he put up in the Weeds.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay, because I had
to murder Ken for promoting our show.
Because I saw it. I was looking at him. I was just like, oh, he was told. He just nods his head, puts the sign down. They did not have any cameras on that on the team, the announce team. They had no cameras on that team until after the stat match. That was a long ass time not to show them. It's just very funny. TK is in fact very sick of the show.
He's like, oh god, he's gonna get this sign, then I gotta address something. No, we just can't have it. We're not even gonna show this thing at all. Oh, we appreciate you, Ken.
Thanks. Big thanks to Ken. You did it. We appreciate it. I'm sure they didn't actually get upset about it, but you were respectful. That's the most important part. They asked you to put it down. You put it down.
I do like Delayed Gret's comment of, to be fair, it looks like you're advertising cannabis. So maybe that's why they told you to put it down. We can't be advertising weed on our show.
We advertise shrooms on the show, not weed. Get ready. I swear that's Ken's gonna be banned from Collision now. You can't go to Dynamite Christmas or anything like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal. It's okay. He did the thing. We appreciate it very much.
I want to fight the chat. I'm sick of the chat today already. You guys are yelling at me over the poll. You think Joel's going to do a daily poll question? Are you kidding me? Joel's not going to do the poll question.
I do enough stuff for this show.
You think SP3 is going to do it? SP3 probably would, but I don't know if he has that kind of access to even like set it up. So SP3 is not going to do the poll question. I'll take the poll question away from tyrants unless you sit down and eat your soup.
Just part of the show, man. Yes, the answer is always yes. You should always bring it in the weeds sign to any professional wrestling event you go to, especially ones that have cameras at them. If you are sitting near a camera, or at least you can tell your friends about us, yes, absolutely. Bring it, do it. I'm not even going to tell you to bring a big head version of us because I feel like that's a busted open trope that we don't want to do, but bring in the weed signs. If you want a PNG of our logo, I will provide you with one. I will do it. I have these things. I even have the lesser seen, the one I was working on before I never finished it. Let's see if I still have the 25th, the one I called the 25th anniversary in the Weeds logo that I never actually released.
25th anniversary? We haven't.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't. It was actually a 2025. It's just because it's labeled 25. It was something like this. And then we never used it.
Well, I never knew it existed until now.
I think I sent it to you guys, but we just never settled.
That's not true.
I may have sent it around. Either way, that's the other one. So listen, if people like that one, we'll start using that one. That was an updated one for, I think, thumbnails and stuff. But yeah, who knows? If you want it, you got it.
Yeah, bring a sign with that logo on it. No one will recognize that logo because we've never used it.
Oh, we already got people in chat saying they buy that. So there we go. Do I get a commission for having designed those things?
We should
ask
start branding. We should start branding these things. Yeah, we can ask. Probably get told no.
He's traveling this week. He's in a good mood, right?
I don't know. Is he ever? You know what I mean?
Well, he's happy. He got to watch Toy Story last night, allegedly, according to his socials. So it makes me happy, right? He did yell at Zeno Hour after the Full Gear post show.
What happened?
I think Zeno sent a super hour, sent a super chat saying that you and Cresta should host the War Games post show. And he did point out, like, Cresta is unavailable for the show. I did know that, but yeah, he was like, nothing would get done, everything would be awful. And I'm like, yeah, but the views would be through the roof and the money would be pouring in.
Yeah,
it'd be great. He didn't say anything about the sponsors, but I feel like the sponsors would be like, best show ever. Do it again. Oh, and he also made reference to the fact that you hate doing, post shows.
Facts, but I would do one with Cresta just for the bit. So Cresta did message me. I guess someone else sent a super chat. Noise 2504, shout out to you, sent a super chat and just said, let Cresta and Jeremy do the post show for War Games. And Cresta messaged me and just said, we're gonna get memed into a post show. It's
so true. Oh yeah,
we're gonna have to do a post show, me and Cresta, at some point. We're gonna have to do it. I don't know what show it's gonna be, but we're gonna have to do a post show.
It'll happen. You'll get like a Ric Flair's last match style post show, like me and Kate did once upon a time. Yeah, it was, Zeno Hour said that Sean didn't watch ITW. That was the best part. Oh. But the thing is, like, Sean's right. Jeremy traditionally does not want to do post shows.
No, I quit doing post shows.
Yes. Yeah, they should let you do the Saturday night's main event, John Cena's last match post show.
I'm gonna run in on that post show anyway, wearing I already have I'm wearing a sweater, my sweater, not the next man's sweater, with my John Cena shirt over it, and I'm gonna sing the John Cena theme. So everyone prepare for my run-in on the John Cena's last match post show, because that's gonna happen.
Do any of your 12 children play the trumpet?
Nah, they play a bunch of different stuff, but they don't play the trumpet. They were clarinet kids, so they have clarinets.
Dorks. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get it.
I played the clarinet as well for like middle school, and then like after middle school, I was like, I'm not doing this shit. This is lame.
My brother played the clarinet. I played the trumpet.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, be as self-indulgent as possible. John Cena should perform his theme for his last match. Bring out trademark, do the whole shebang.
That'd be great.
Are you going to do Thugonomics, or are you going to do Bad Man? What are you going to do?
No. I mean, it's the theme everybody knows. I do like Word Like This is basic Thugonomics. I don't know the lyrics to that. as well. Like I know the My Time Is Now lyrics without without like needing to look it up or anything. I can just go off cuff with that one.
I get it. You should do that. It'll be fun. By the way, the Next Man Sweater thing, that's something that we've turned into a bit of a opportunity for charity. So that particular post show, Sean has said that we're going to match donations, or we're going to use those to buy sweaters to literally donate to the next people who will be needing them for the holidays. Something to keep everyone warm. So hey, go ahead, be a part of that show. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a fun last match for John Cena. And I told you, Jeremy, I told you, and then we'll talk about Full Gear. I told you they were going to release the brackets after they got the two mystery opponents in and out, and they did the last of the 16-man match bullshit, and they were going to release it. And what did I tell you? I told you on one side it's going to be Jey Uso, and on the other side of the bracket it's going to be Gunther. And what did they give you? They give you Jey Uso and Gunther on either side of the brackets. And I love that Gunther's got to get the monkey off his back, known as Jey Uso, to get.
He already beat Jey Uso. He beat Jey Uso to regain the title.
That's the best part. You get the monkey off his back. I was using quotations for the audio crowd. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny, and I'm so here for it. I hope they don't do it, but like the fact that they released the brackets after the fact was, to me, very obvious. It was the way they're going to do it. But yes, Gunther and Jey as the final. SP3 pointed it out too, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad you see it.
I hope they go in a different direction. My favorite part though was, Sheamus is out of the tournament with a shoulder injury. They announced that on Friday.
Best wishes to Sheamus.
Yeah, assuming it's legit.
Assuming it's real, because if it's not, I will blow. Many people will be upset.
If it's not, they really did like the least interesting thing possible. So
the best when I read that, I was like, go ahead, because you prophesized it too.
Yeah, spoiler, everybody. If you're mad at me over this, I don't care. So spoiler. So Sheamus is out of the tournament, and people are like, oh man, this is an opportunity to do something. Who can they bring in to replace Sheamus?
It's Joe Hendry's time, guys.
Yeah, they're gonna do Joe Hendry. Maybe they'll bring in somebody from Cena's past again. Maybe they'll give a young guy from NXT an opportunity. And Sean tweeted of just like, oh, this is a great chance for WWE to do something interesting with the mystery opponent for LA Knight. And I just quoted, I was like, get ready to learn Miz, buddy. And what happened during the SmackDown spoilers on Friday after the live show? Who was the mystery opponent? The Miz. Because God forbid this company do something interesting. Just when in doubt, call in the Miz to lose again. Because again, why do something interesting? Why do something fun? Why do something different? Nope. They have who they want to win this thing. They have their plan set. And if you bring in somebody like Obafemi, who should get a spot, and then he can't lose to LA Knight, and he can't go to the finals, and they're not going to do that. Could they have done Joe Hendry to lose to LA Knight? Yes, 100%, easily, would have been fine. But no, let's just do the Miz, because the Miz is an easy choice. He can take a loss, and we can all move on with our lives. So dumb. This
could have done
sucks.
Like even the silly Brooks Jensen trying to avenge his dad. Like
you
could have at least told a little bit of a story. Like I get it. Also, Brooks Jensen would have been perfect, because you know what? That particular SmackDown, nobody's watching it. It's the go home. It's taped. It's Thanksgiving weekend. You get him on TV. You get him a free rep on network, and like that's it. But instead, no. I love the idea that it's like, Mike, what are you up to? And then that's it. Fantastic.
So Wrestle Cinematics does make a good point. The injury last minute, and Sheamus showed up to the tape. He's injured. I understand it was Truth or Miz. Yes, you also could have rearranged the schedule, and everybody would have been fine with that. It was a taped show. Like you could have done something different and be like, hey, we were going to do the match tonight, but because Sheamus is injured, now you got to wait till Monday, put on a different match in its place. You can make things work. In this case, you didn't have to go with the Miz. You could have done something different.
Miz has the history, and he gave you that one promo that was like, I'm going to get my win back from John Cena. I'm going to avenge blah, 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 blah. Like he did the annual Miz cuts a great promo that gets you invested, but then he lost. So like, we can move on. I assume he talked his way into it, and you're going to see it on Friday, and then you're going to see him. You're just going to see him lose again. But the point is, like, it's still dumb that they went for the safe option. They could have picked a lot of different people. It's so funny though that like you could have done Truth. Even Truth would have been funny. Truth losing to LA Knight, there's nothing wrong with that. Truth could have been like, oh, I got my number called. I'm so excited. I'm going to be the next guy, and had a semi-competitive match with LA Knight. I mean, it's not the way they did it. So
yeah, Truth would have been a much better option. I mean, that's still not a good option, but at least he wasn't already in the tournament and then lost.
I was like, you're paying off the thing that he did for the last 2 weeks, where he was like, take my balls in your hand, and then the Nick Aldis would be like, you're in the tournament, and he's like, oh, okay, but he wasn't in the tournament. You could say he were in the tumbler. You could have been picked, but instead they made it sound like he was going to be a part of the tournament in a match. But it was a very I think by Miz standards, SP3, it was a good promo, because once in a while Miz does those, like, he makes a good point promo using his own history that people are like, oh yeah, Miz. I'm not saying it was great. I'm just saying it's one of those once a year Miz does one of those good promos that makes you remember Miz did something.
Sure.
I'm not saying it was great. I'm just saying it was good. I'm just saying it was fine.
It's a fine promo, fine speech.
That's right. Delayed Grat sends a super chat saying, consider this poll. Survivor Series will be A, snore games, goddamn. B, poor games, definitely not with the money they're making. C, bore games, maybe bored games. Anyway, and D, chore to watch games. You got by the time you got to D, you got a little too cute by a half. Snore games is probably the one you might get. I don't know. I'm doing the post show. I'll be doing it with Phil Lindsay on the main channel.
Boo.
We'll see how it goes. I know. If Crystal
not booing Phil, boo Joel Pearl.
I'll be there. Send all your money. Make Sean feel like it was a good idea to put me and Phil together on what could be a good show. Maybe not. I don't know. But I hope it's enjoyable at the very least. Shitty wrestling can be fun to talk about on this show.
I don't think it's gonna be a bad show though. Like, it's War Games. Those matches are
well thought out.
Yeah, they're tough to screw up because everyone tries really hard. They do a bunch of cool spots, and people like all that stuff. Cena and Dom will be fine, and Nikki and Stephanie, well, that's gonna depend on how Nikki's looking, because I have faith in Stephanie. Nikki can, she's looking like every bit of the veteran so far. You know, she's still working her way back into things.
Yep. Well, who knows? Louis saying Rizzler should have been on the poll. Boom.
Fair.
It's fair. I do get it. You're getting roasted for your poll.
I got 4 options, everybody. Jeez.
And Cyclops is better than Wolverine, saying the guy with the sign was a paid industry. Ken Bruno, I saw you in your AEW New Jersey Devils crossover jersey. Paid industry plant. All right, let's dig into it. Matthew Hook saying Full Gear was great. Feels like we have a lot of stories coming out of this. I'm excited for the future. Who are your C2 entrants? Well, we'll get to the C2 stuff shortly. Let's get into Full Gear. Let's do the bulk of this conversation and then completely forget about the C2 stuff, shall we?
Okay.
No, my C2 entrants are mostly people who have title belts and don't need them, and then the Hurt Syndicate. And maybe one member of the Demand not named Ricochet. Oh, and Jet individually.
I think so. Who do we have? Fletcher, Takesha, Okada are announced so far. I think you're gonna see Moxley.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see Claudio.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna get 3 members of Death Riders. If you do, I'd lean Pac over Garcia. But if you're going 3, then one of them would probably be the option. Garcia had a good run last year, so maybe he gets back in there as now a Death Rider member. Maybe Eddie. I think Eddie probably wants to be in it.
I think Eddie and Hook should both be in it to eventually have some sort of interaction.
All right. I think Ricochet will probably be in it, honestly. I think Ricochet wants to go in, show out, and do his thing. So those are...
Oh, Brody for sure.
Brody and Bandito would actually be really good if they were in it.
So how many usually do? It's 16, 8 and 8?
No, it's 12, isn't it? And it's 6 and 6.
I can't remember. Great.
O'Reilly's not going to be in it because Tony said he wasn't going to be in it.
Yeah, he said he was not available or something.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, 6-6, 6-6.
Yeah, I'm correct as usual.
Well, Darby. So last year, Gold League was Darby, Claudio, Will Ospreay, Ricochet, Brody King, and Juice Robinson. The Blue League was Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, Mark Briscoe, Shelton Benjamin, and Beast Mortos. So you do kind of have to.
You got to get someone who's going to take some L's.
Yeah, you got to have a good mix too. And I like the idea of Josh Alexander being part of it as a member of Don Callis family, but then you also have 3 other guys who are part of the Don Callis family part of it. You have a riches. You have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to Continental Classic participants.
Ace Austin, Kevin Knight are good shouts, as they'll probably lose the majority of matches, but have good showings. I do wonder if Moxley is going to lose a bunch of matches, honestly, because the story they're telling with him being a giant loser right now, and the Death Rider is giving him side-eye looks and everything, to where if he doesn't have a good showing here, they can continue to use that as fuel of get the hell out. We're done with you. So I could see Moxley being a guy who people expect to get victories, but ends up losing more than he wins. I don't think he's going 0-5, although that would be some big ball booking from Tony Khan. But I do think he might go 2-3, when typically he would probably go more 4-1.
I feel like Roddy will be a part of this.
All right, maybe, yeah.
So we got 12 spots, but we have 3 officially announced. Yeah. So we have 9 open spots. So if we were to fill those, so what are we saying? We're saying Strong, Mox.
Okay, hold on. 3. All right, so I think Moxley, Claudio, Kingston and Ricochet. Those are my locks.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with as locks. I think possibly Darby. I don't know, but possibly Darby. I'm going to throw Darby in there. That's 8 balloons. So you have who you think? Roddy?
Yeah, I'd put Roddy in there.
Wait, Roddy and Brody?
Yeah, I would put Brody in there.
Okay.
Again, he's been that glue as part of this competition.
Kevin Knight?
Do you put Swerve in there? A returning Swerve? Or is he going to be part of the main event picture for World's End?
Yeah, I don't put Swerve in there.
Okay, so maybe Kevin Knight is a good shout.
Yeah, you got to get guys who are taking some L's here.
Shelton again. Do you put Shelton? Or again, do you take out Ricochet because it feels like you're about to deal with another Demand versus Hurt Syndicate story?
I'm keeping Ricochet.
Okay, you can keep Ricochet. So you're putting Shelton.
Well, if you're putting Shelton, that's 12.
Is that 12? 1,
yes.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, it is.
I don't think Shelton's in there.
Okay. Would you take out someone to put in someone like Speedball? If it's Kevin Knight or Speedball?
Who are you taking out? Shelton?
No, that's the problem. I don't know. I guess you could take out Shelton because Kevin and Speedball both deserve that spot.
Yeah.
But also you have a tag division that now has heel champions. So you can now flip-flop your tag division to have the faces chase. Kevin Knight and Speedball are both a babyface tag team and are liked by the crowd. You're probably not going right back to Brodito. Because that's why I assume Brody's going to be part of the C2. That's why I'm kind of like, you have space.
I would take out Shelton just because he was there last year. I don't want too much sameness from last year, and we've already got a fair amount of sameness from last year. Ricochet, Brody, Claudio, Darby, Okada, Fletcher, and if you're putting in Shelton, that's 7 from last year. And then if you even go back to the year before, if we're throwing Eddie and Moxley, they were in from the year before. So, and Brody's another guy who was in from the year before. And Claudio as well. So I would like to get a little bit, I don't want half the field being the same as it was last year. I'd like to get a little bit new faces in there.
I'm willing to take out Eddie Kingston because he's going to have to be part of this ops redux thing. He's going to be mad at Hook. That's kind of the reality of it. So for the last month, and also, to be perfectly frank, Eddie Kingston hasn't been the best since he's come back. They put him in a tag team with Hook, try to get Hook over while using Eddie as well. And like Eddie has the possibility of picking it back up, but he's not performing to the level that he was before he got injured, which is understandable. So I'm willing to take out Eddie Kingston for the C2 and replace him with somebody else. As to who that is, don't have it yet. People saying Ace Austin, I'm willing to go with someone like Ace because, like we both said, he could take L's and it would still look good because Ace is a fantastic wrestler. So that's kind of where I'm at there.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I'm not taking out Eddie Kingston.
Okay. I'm gonna take out Eddie and put in Ace, unless you have some insider information that I don't know of.
Oh, Bryan Danielson has been messaging me about who is in this field, so I'm not saying take my word for gospel, everybody, but just remember who I picked.
Just remember who you picked. Fair. All right. Well, we'll see when the brackets are released. I assume at 11:59 on Tuesday. I don't know. Did they say that they were going to do a release of any kind, or they just?
They just said it would be early in this week. So I imagine today or tomorrow. Like it would have to be. I wouldn't do it Wednesday. I think that's dumb to do it day of. Like you want to get people at least talking about it for 24 hours and doing bracketology and breakdowns and everything. So I would suspect by the end of tomorrow. I would honestly probably do it like tomorrow at like 12. Like do the big thing. I think the first year they did that, the big like reveal. Last year they screwed up and they put everybody on the website first.
That's right.
And then
were we doing a reveal, a bracket reveal? Was it that one, or not bracket, but a tournament reveal?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, they just put everybody on the website. It's like, oops, our bad.
Oh well. That's amazing. Anyway, yeah, let's you want to dig into the Full Gear show?
No, we should just not review Full Gear at all.
All right, so should we make fun of the fact that on SmackDown, Rhea and Charlotte had to have a fully produced segment after being dragged in through live cameras? They did it again, Jeremy. So they overproduced it.
It was so unnecessary to do that. But
we're just gonna honey dick the chat the whole time. All right, let's talk about Full Gear. Actually,
you see, guys, this is all a bit of Joel. For some reason, titled this show "Are People Talking About Full Gear?" And then we are gonna go the whole show not talking about Full Gear. And so the answer to the title of this video is no. People are not talking about Full Gear.
The supercut of this episode is gonna be one of the best. You guys did a 5-hour episode and you didn't talk about the pay-per-view?
And we've got SmackDown. We've got AAA to talk about. We've got GCW. A new GCW champion was crowned. Gail Kim showed up to the show as well. We have JCW to talk about. Come on now.
Revolver came north of the border. They worked at whose school? Santino school.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. We have great wrestling to talk about that has nothing to do with Full Gear.
I will say this SmackDown thing was, yeah, they did a setup where Alexa's walking through the halls as a live to tape with, so Charlotte and Alexa are walking through, and then they go into a locker room or like some sort of backstage area that maybe was like a little restaurant type of thing, and Io and Rhea are sitting there on the couch getting all comfy. No comments. And she's like, hey, give me a second. And then they go face to face, Charlotte and Rhea. And then they go to whatever else was happening throughout the show. And then they come back to it. And like they've got a 3-camera setup, fully produced, tense music video promo where it's like, can I trust you? You can trust me. Okay, we're friends for the next match. And that was it. And that's really the gist. That's the gist of it. But they had to do it with like the whole tense meeting and the full camera production with the lights, and it was so weird. It was just like the Cody and Roman Reigns vignette. Remember when they met in the middle of the stadium in Georgia?
Yeah, at least that they didn't do a live segment beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't have all the cars driving up and everything. It was very strange that they decided to produce it this way. And like, I don't know, I assume most people either don't know, they don't care. It was just a weird switch because this was the MJF stuff where they would do something live in the ring and you go to MJF with a fully produced video in a completely different shot environment at a different frame rate and a different setup of a camera, different lighting, everything, and pretending like it's live. This was what it was supposed to look like, but it was just awkward and it just wasn't very good. Like storyline wise, sure, they had to get on the same page, so they did it, but they did it in like the most melodramatic way possible, and that was the strangest thing.
Yeah, it was dumb. I mean, this whole thing was dumb anyway because they did the thing last week where, oh, Rhea, I can't trust you, and then Charlotte saved Alexa on Raw, and then now they can be friends and be trusted. It's like they're trying to fit something there that is kind of unnecessary. Unless like Charlotte's gonna turn in the match or Rhea's gonna turn, but I don't think they actually have the gumption to do that. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be something different if they did go with that. I know people probably get mad at Charlotte being a heel again, but she's much better as a heel. Although I do like this iteration with her and Alexa being frenemies and Charlotte getting a little bit more comfortable with everything. But yeah, I don't think they're going to do any type of turn. So it's just like, let's try to fit a story in here when everyone would have just accepted, okay, Rhea and Io are friends, Alexa and Charlotte are friends, they got common enemies. War games.
There's no title involvement, so like no one has anyone to turn on for any reason. Stephanie's in a match, Jade Cargill, and she's gonna go after who? So that's a whole other thing. Like
they're doing Jade and Chelsea because they have nobody. They have nobody in that friggin' division.
You're right.
Like, they don't. It's either Chelsea or Michin. That's all they have.
Hell yeah, Michin versus Jade Cargill. Let's go.
And they're doing Chelsea because she's entertaining and can get on television and do fun stuff and has some cachet. No offense to Michin, she just loses all the time and no one like looks at her as any type of threat. Chelsea loses a decent amount, more than maybe she should, but like that's also the point of her character of like, haha, she's funny show ass wrestler, so she can take some losses and bounce back with great promos and segments. But they're doing Jade and Chelsea, which is they're gonna turn Chelsea babyface off of this, and I think she's a heel.
She already is.
Well,
they've already done it for the most part. That's what happens when you become too good at your job. People want to cheer you, and an effective heel is one that is so good that you want to follow along. I give AJ Francis this all the time. AJ Francis is a really good heel because everyone wants to hate him, but he's actually doing a really good job. If you really peel it back and you understand what he's doing, like he's good at this. Gail Kim, they turned that into a perfectly serviceable situation, and she just had to show up and be an asshole. And you saw what you saw if you watched the Dream On show from GCW. She got verbally undressed, and then she got involved in the Janela and KJ Orso match. So like, there's something building there. They're trying to turn it into something, I assume. But sometimes when you get yourself over too much, people really want to cheer the act. Toni Storm, timeless Toni Storm was a heel when she broke, and then over the course of time, she got so popular and so well liked that people wanted to cheer, and AEW was like, all right, let's do it. But they made it natural.
Yeah. I mean, Julia was technically a heel, and Chelsea just beat her. So, Chelsea's going to get cheered. I guess she's more or less a babyface on SmackDown, but she's a heel on NXT because she's aligned with Ethan, who is a heel. They don't know what they're doing.
Depends who you ask. It's okay. Did you hear that the Lucha Brothers are coming back? Don't worry.
That was so dumb.
It's the test run, Jeremy. WWE fans don't know that they're brothers. They just that rules.
Stupid. This big reunion, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do it on this AAA show, which, fine, sure. So stupid. Absolutely so dumb.
Delay Grad saying Mox was a babyface all along. We were the heels. You know what? You can make the arguments.
I did love that Mox promo after he lost and he goes to the back and he's doing push-ups. He's like, You guys are celebrating regular season victories. Like the playoffs are about to start. This is how I know Mox is in the C2. He's looking at the C2 as the playoffs. It's like the playoffs are about to start. And I'm like, Moxley has the 0-0 mentality. That's what I respect about Jon Moxley. Clear OKC Thunder fan who was like 0-0, everybody. These wins and losses, they don't mean shit. It's 0-0. It's a new day. Go Jon Moxley.
That's right. It's happening. Jon Moxley is going to be the C2 winner. And everyone's going to be like, Jon Moxley, god of this shit. Anyway. Death Riders are going to toss him out after the C2. Just like they were going to toss him out after the match at Full Gear. Just like they were going to toss him out after Blood and Guts. Watch it build to nothing. That'd be very funny. Watch it build to Jon Moxley in the middle of the ring being like, my job here is done. Everyone is more violent than they've ever been before. Renee, let's go on vacation.
I hope that Moxley just wins the C2. That'd be hilarious.
Just makes Okada look like a bitch. Then afterwards, Takesha's like, oh, I don't want that. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah, I want Moxley to just win the C2 and just continue to lead the Death Riders because it's funny.
I like this. Jon Moxley turns on the Death Riders instead. He turns to them and he's just like, no more bleeding for me. Fuck you guys.
Moxley he's way better than people want to give him credit for.
Oh, yes.
But he just starts a new group. I guess he could take the Death Rider name. He's like, I'm taking the name with me. You guys got to come up with your own name now. And he gets just new talent in there. He can get Speedball and Kevin Knight because he's had some battles with them. You can get O'Reilly because he battled with him and everything.
Just give him all the flippy guys. Give him all of like the high flyers and Jon Moxley. And Mox is like, let's do this.
Mox World Order.
I love it. The
MWO.
No bad can come of that. I like the idea. Like he comes out, he's gonna start wearing a sports jacket and no shirt. And he's gonna start saying hi, guys. Perfectly normal guy to do.
God, that would be terrible.
The Mox line. The Mox line sounds like a $3.99 per minute phone call that you get exclusive information for. But please get your parents' permission if you're under 18 first.
Mox line, you call that and he just gives you advices on how to like bleed and stuff.
All right.
I need a fork. I don't think my wife's home.
Let me tell you about all the kinds of forks that I can use.
Oh, you know what? Because she's not home, I could get away with this. Because if she was home, she'd be like, what in the fuck are you doing?
She's watching this
now.
Right now. She's watching this right now, being like, oh, hell no.
I don't know. She's running errands right now, so I don't actually.
That's why I actually put the show on Twitch so that she can listen exclusively on audio only on Twitch.
Oh, I don't think she realizes that. I don't know. Maybe she does. But all right, I'm going to go grab a fork so we can start talking about AEW Full Gear. And the only way to talk about Full Gear is to fork yourself because that's clearly what they do.
Forking and screwing, baby. Because they was forking and screwdrivers.
All right.
That's what I need.
We have a screwdriver too. I guess I can get a screwdriver.
Forking and screwing, baby.
All right. I'll be right back. I gotta get some gimmicks.
All right. Go get your gimmick. He's going to go fork and screw himself into submission. I'm gonna do this. I'm going to remove him. There we go. There we got the single screen. Yeah. So Full Gear was a good show. It was fun. It was fine, right? It was fine. We're going to get Moxley not only out of the Death Riders, but he's going to become the leader of the Mox family. He's going to be the guy wearing a suit jacket and no shirt. And he's just going to be like, hi guys. And then Renee's going to pop out and be like, I really didn't want this. I advised against this, but because it's Jon Moxley, you can't say no. If he wants to take a vacation, not happening. It's not going to happen. And then meanwhile, Hangman Adam Page is going to be like, this is who I had to fight. This is who I had to beat. He's like the nicest man in the world. What is this bullshit? It's going to be great. Am I jumping at you like through? It's going to be fine. All right. I think he's back. Welcome back. Oh, he's muted too. So you got to unmute yourself when you're ready.
Oh, I muted myself because I thought you were going to leave me up on screen.
Oh, so did I.
I could admire my background here.
Well, you know.
So I have a Phillips head screwdriver. That's a Phillips head, not a flathead, because flathead don't pay me nothing. And a fork, everyone. So maybe I'll stab myself with both of these items today.
I feel like bleeding on our show is a problem.
Is it?
I feel like they don't like blood on that. That's why.
How much super chats for me to stab myself with the
Chat. I mean, Uncle Donk sent a super chat. That wasn't actually. Oh well, never mind. The end of it is a hockey related one, so let's get to it. Full Gear was an okay pay per view. Again, this is his opinion, not mine. He says Full Gear was an okay pay per view, not great, but it wasn't a bad show. Glad to see Swerve back in feud with Joe. Can't wait for the Death Riders to turn on Mox. Jeremy has only scored 1 goal last night. Once again, not my take. This came from Uncle Donk. Only one goal.
Yeah, the Habs only scored 1 goal. How many the other teams score?
Nice. 7.
0. So that 1 goal still won us the game. Who cares?
Do you have a thing of ketchup nearby that you can use?
Oh, we do. Not nearby. I mean, it's in the fridge. All right. Well, I'll lick ketchup off of the screwdriver and the fork.
I saw the ITW general manager's response to that spot, and I think she was spot on.
What? Oh,
people should be taking blood pathogen tests in AEW.
Yeah. Oh, she's messaging me. She messaged me while I went to grab a fork and no, I'm at a stop sign. I'm almost home, and she misspelled home because she's probably in such a panic over what I'm gonna do.
This woman has to keep tabs on you because of the things that you do. She literally has to babysit you from jumping off of things.
I'll lick ketchup off of these things. That's fine. That's sanitary. I'll put some ketchup on a plate. Dip it. I'll dip it on the plate, and then I'll lick it off. That'll be fine. It'll be all right. That's better than stabbing myself. But if we get $10,000 in super chats, I will stab myself.
Yeah, you know what? For $10,000, I will watch Jeremy stab himself.
I mean, $10,000 is a good deal. So
where you at, Tony?
That's worth it.
You can only do 500 at a time, but I want to see 500 separate super chats amounting to $10,000. And Jeremy will, in fact, fork forever.
I'll titty fork myself like Moxley did to O'Reilly.
He is the titty master, after all. Just amazing stuff. Oh my gosh!
How much are we at? I don't know, like $40. Like. Oh, really? That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, Don gave $20. We do appreciate that very much. Okay. And also, we got to deal with like the conversion, and then YouTube taking their cut, and then
no. I mean, yeah, YouTube's got to take their cut, but 10,000 is where we're at. Like that's whatever you guys put in the chat on that. It doesn't have to be 10,000 directly to us. Although I'm keeping all this money, by the way. Joel ain't seeing a dime. SB3 ain't seeing a dime.
Coward.
Sean ain't seeing a dime. Jimmy ain't seeing a dime. If
Jimmy
I'm doing
doesn't know
this.
the show exists.
True. He knows this channel exists, allegedly.
Allegedly.
They ain't seeing none of this. When I tell them, like, yeah, we got 10,000 in super chats because I stabbed myself, they'll be like, all right, you know what? You can keep all of that. We don't need our cut on that one. So I'm keeping all the 10,000, everybody. It'll be well worth it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Can't believe she actually rushed home. Anyway,
I don't think she rushed home. She was coming home anyway. But it's much funnier.
She'll show up in like 30 minutes and be like, I got pulled over because of you.
Yeah, I was about to say, she's going to be late. She's got a ticket for speeding. I feel like the police might understand. Oh, hello. She did not get pulled over.
No, she did not.
She is home. Do you think the police would understand? Like, my husband is trying to stab himself with a fork on air.
The answer would be this, I got to see.
All right, Ken Bruno sent 10. We're getting to 10,000, everybody. $10,000, baby. I mean, we can do a lot of things with $10,000. That wound will heal. We'll be okay.
Yeah, like 7,500, but sure.
We'll be okay.
7,000, but yeah.
Where would you do it?
The forehead. Yeah. If I'm gonna do it, like, you gotta go all out.
Like Abby. You gotta do it like Abby.
Yeah. You gotta do like forehead stabbing. I'm not gonna like stab my finger or something. That sounds not great. Or my arm.
Leg.
I'll rake it into my back like Moxley did.
Nipple.
I don't know about titty fucking myself. Fork fucking myself.
Titty forking.
Titty forking. I don't know about that.
Sounds like something you're just gonna have to deal with later. You've always wanted a nipple piercing. Now you can get one.
I've not always wanted a nipple piercing. I've never wanted a nipple piercing.
Ken Bruno super chat, by the way, said for the Jeremy's going to fork himself and we're going to watch on. A little wordy, but it works.
That's fine. All right, so where are we at? $50 maybe?
I think it's more like 50. Yeah, like you said, 50.
All right, 10,000 for fork and screwdriver separately.
Oh,
I'll use both as part of the deal here. So yeah, 10,000 for both.
All right.
Is what we'll get. The fork fund.
Gordon sends $1.99 as a small contribution to the Go Fork Yourself Club.
All right, we're at 52. We're getting there.
For $51.99.
Okay. All right. We can round up.
Listen, just because your country finally got rid of the penny 5 years after ours doesn't mean it's gone yet.
10,000 from 52.
What's that?
You're rounding up from 52 to what?
No, we rounded up from $51.99 to 52. That's all. Yeah, no, we're not rounding up that much. That would be egregious. Someone DM Tony Khan and be like, hey, this guy is going to stab himself for $10,000.
He knows who you are, and he might
sadly. Tony's going to show up. He might give me $10,000 not to do it, honestly. Tony's blowing like 102 million on these wrestlers wrestling.
Yeah.
They already make thousands of dollars. I don't make anything. I could use the 10,000.
Oh, there you go, man. I sent a super chat. Self fork abuse fund contribution.
That's a good title. Most of these super chats are just naming the fund that we're calling here.
This is the weirdest thing we've done, and we've done a lot of weird things.
I am gonna need, regardless if we get the 10,000. Okay, regardless if we get the 10,000. What's that?
God, you're still gonna mutilate yourself.
No. I'm not gonna mutilate myself. No, I need money for that. I need a good amount of money for that. I'll do some dumb shit on this show for no money, as people have seen. If I'm going to, literally stab myself with a fork and screwdriver, I'm gonna have to make it very worthwhile. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble with myself because I'll be very dumb and. That would be good.
You might not feel like to be upset at you at that point.
I will, regardless of if we get the 10,000 or not. I will dip both of these items into ketchup and lick them both, no matter what.
Misha says,
No, you don't have to clean the screwdriver. It's more unsanitary if you don't clean the screwdriver.
Misha said the super chat saying for the ITW Type 8 deathmatch.
There we go. What are we at, like 56?
56.
We're getting there.
We're only 9,945, whatever, something like that.
We're getting there. So I will need a plate of ketchup, because I'm not going to just like squirt the ketchup on it, because you know how that ketchup bottle works. It's going to go everywhere. So a plate of ketchup so I can just like dip it in there.
Louis saying for the Four Horsemen.
Four Horsemen, okay. I'll run the ketchup blade as well. We'll do that.
Now, Mr. Elegance doesn't blade.
For $10,000, he will.
For $10,000, he would probably do it. That's true.
$10,000, Mr. Elegance will 100% blade.
You're going to be on Impact this week? Because none of us figured out what's actually happening this week on TNA Impact.
Hold on, my wife is asking me a question. What's that, baby?
What are you going to do what's 10 grand?
Retire. I ain't doing this show anymore, that's for sure.
We got a couple more super chats. Amanda saying, Devon, get the forks. I don't think he'd like this very much, but we'd still do it. And our friend Micah.
Micah, what up?
With all the good swerves this past pay-per-view, making Marina the leader of the Death Riders would be fantastic. Thank you, Micah. Not only did your idea cultivate good conversation, but also Jeremy is now $5 closer to stabbing himself in the face with a fork. Marina running the Death Riders. The Death Marinas. That sounds like a marina experience. Sounds like she's going to run a boat factory, a marina. Anyway, you're back.
Yeah. All right, Wrestle Cinematics is getting... You're on timeout, Wrestle Cinematics.
Wow. Let the record show that was Jeremy that did it, not me.
Yeah, I said it.
I know. Just adding to the record.
Yeah. He's on... Oh, man. He's about to get on double secret timeout here.
Oh, my goodness.
You're on timeout, Wrestle Cinematics.
You really...
I will have no James Harden propping up here as WWE RAW is in Oklahoma City tonight. James Harden is not even in the top 10 most important players in Thunder history. Yeah, I said that. Not even in the top 10. Get him out of here.
Adding on that they are only taping Raw tonight. They are not taping Raw and SmackDown. SmackDown was taped on Friday, which I feel like we talked about, and maybe we just got it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know we just got it wrong.
Yeah, we just because we knew there was a double taping. We thought it was tonight, but it was actually on Friday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It happened. Miz is the mystery opponent. Ken Bruno sends another super chat saying 4 letters, 1 word. Fork. Fork. I don't think it works as well, but it's still funny.
Fork.
Surprised no one sent a go fork yourself submission here.
Didn't Louis? I thought Louis sent a go fork yourself.
We need to go back.
All right.
Anyway, the 4 Horsemen was the first one.
Louis is correct. Dion Waiters over.
Oh, here it is. Yeah,
over James Harden.
Go fork yourself club.
Yeah, see, I thought
It's there. It's there.
Fork yourself. Okay. Yeah. Wow. James Harden not in the top 10 of Thunder players. In no particular order. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. J-Dub. That's right. He's already there. Alex Caruso. That's right. 1 season. He's there as well. Chet Holmgren. He also already there. You're a champion. You're there. Sorry. James Harden never won a title. Lou Dort. So there's 5 right there. Nick Collison. 100% Nick Collison. Dion Waiters. Yeah, I'll throw Dion Waiters on there. Serge Ibaka. We love the Serge Ibaka.
So do the balloons.
Yeah, I do love Trey Mann. Trey Mann is fantastic. Russell Westbrook, obviously. Russell Westbrook has to be there. And begrudgingly, but not really, Steven Adams. Steven Adams is the 10th one. Those are the top 10 for all-time Thunder players.
There you go. So what's next? Should we talk about Gail Kim coming to JCW? Coming to
I already
GCW?
talked about that. We already talked about Gail Kim.
Do you think this is going to be Janelysis versus Gail and KJ Orso? Is that the match we're building to?
I mean, Megan's in Japan right now, and then she's got AEW
tomorrow. This would probably be like maybe spring break at this rate, because Gail said she's coming to do stuff in 2026. Somebody asked her online, and she was like, "No, I'm retired." This might be the one match that she does for 2026 as a special thing.
All right, spring break. Spring break, I could buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a spring break main event. It's easy. It's you get a legend and you work with Janela, and KJ Orso being the other guy. Like KJ Orso had a career defining moment at spring break last year. So yeah, why not? It'd be fun. That'd be good. A good Mania weekend event to put together, and it's also happening at the same spot as WrestleCade, so that makes it even better.
Yeah, okay. I can buy spring break. Is that match happening? That was fine to see her show up. You know, she did a little heel promo. Janela retorted, and then Gail Kim screwed up and cost KJ Orso the match.
So when Janela faces Atticus Kogar in January and sets up this tag team match for spring break, we'll all be saying Joel and Jeremy were right.
I didn't think Sean caught any strays in that. I thought Gail Kim was confirming she watched the interview. I thought it was a compliment towards Sean of like, yeah, I watched this interview you did with Sean. I didn't think she was mean to Sean.
And then Sean tried to play it off as if
words
Janela
got misinterpreted.
I think Sean was then playing it up as if Janela, put up for Sean in his retort, in his very yelling, profanity-laden retort. You're back.
This is what I'm gonna do with the $10,000. I'm gonna fix this fucking internet.
You're gonna get some Google Five, are you?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with it.
We gotta get you. We gotta get everyone on this company. We're gonna get the better internet. You, Kate, Alex was struck with it for a while.
Nah.
Man, I'm not gonna say anything because then I'm gonna get struck. It's gonna be bad. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see what GCW does. I think that's a WrestleMania weekend type of match, and it would be a lot of fun. Gail's gonna be there anyway. She'll be part of WrestleCade. That's just what she does. So why not?
Con.
Did I say WrestleCade? Sorry,
yeah, WrestleCade's this weekend.
Yes, my bad. Is she there this weekend too? Probably. Is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I guess I can check her socials and see.
Either way, it was nice to see her do that. And again, I like the fact that they turned chicken shit into chicken salad, because the stuff that Gail was talking about on socials, like she got a lot of heat for it, in some cases rightfully so, and they said, you know what, let's make this into an angle, let's get you involved, let's turn this around. And if this is what they're working on, great, I'm all about it. Gail is someone who does deserve a lot of credit for the work that she's done in and out of the ring, and you don't have to agree with how she feels wrestling should be presented, but I think there is definitely space for her in 2026 gathering and learning and understanding what's different in wrestling, and like how maybe you might enjoy it if you get the opportunity to be in that world. Maybe she's not going to take a fork to the face, but you know, $10,000 could change your mind.
Cowardly not taking a fork to the face. Gail Kim's not at WrestleCade, by the way.
She wants to be with her family for Thanksgiving, which I understand, because I assume her husband is going to make a delicious Thanksgiving meal. Did you know he's a chef?
No.
Oh, really? Well, let me tell you about Robert Irvine. He's a chef.
Is he related to Chris Irvine?
I hope not. Although they might be brothers given the age gap. That's me saying Chris Jericho is old.
Nah.
You think Chris Jericho is going to be in the C2?
That would rule if he was.
He should. He should be in the C2. He should win. And then on his last night, he beats Okada and he walks through the crowd in Chicago, just says, and blows a kiss and walks out the door. Next day, posts on his Instagram, it's a picture of that belt in a fridge, and he's put AEW on ice.
All right, I'm for that.
Yes, we're back. I'm running this bit into the ground at this point. Until he shows up elsewhere, he's still working AEW.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, until he is in WWE, he still is with AEW. That is factual.
Speedpunk saying, I believe Gail Kim said she was going to be at the next Nick Gage Invitational next month. So there you go.
There you go.
If it's happening, then cool. If nothing else, at least she's going to be there to see it. And if she doesn't like it afterwards, at least she showed up to try. It's like, at least she showed up. That's the least you could do.
Yeah, because they couldn't do like a real death match at the mall show, because I think the mall probably would have frowned upon all of that. Like they did some hardcore stuff in the main event, you know, the usual tables and chairs, and there was like casket and everything. So doors, not tables. Maybe they used both. I can't remember. But they did some hardcore stuff in the main event. But they couldn't go full death match, the American Dream Mall. But yeah, Nick Gage Invitational. That's the thing though, is that's not the show to like sell people on you're not a deathmatch promotion, because it's all death matches. And for someone who doesn't like deathmatch wrestling, which Gail Kim seems very much opposed to it, I don't think that she's going to all of a sudden come around after watching a full show of death matches. That's one where you need to just have the one death match on the show as a change of pace from everything else. It's like, oh, okay, I understand what this is. But you watch like 10 death matches in a row, yeah, you're going to probably be turned off by it. Especially, again, if you don't like it. I mean, we've had Emil on Spotlight, Emil J. And even he's like, yeah, I can't do like a full show of death matches. It's too much. You give me just a couple on a show, cool. Nice change of pace, something different than a scramble, something different than a tag match. It works. You do 10 of those things, no, that's too much.
So I'm really looking forward to Gail Kim bleeding buckets in a tag team death match at Joey Janela's Spring Break, just so she can prove her love of the game one last time. I mean, she's bled before, so it wouldn't be it. What are you just holding your tongue there? Good.
No.
All right, fine. All right, we're an hour into the show. Should we get to it?
$10,000.
10,000. Why did Joey Janela leave AEW? That is the question of the day. He's talked about it. He didn't have his contract renewed. That was it.
Yeah.
And he's gone off and he's done quite an amazing feat of work, if you ask me, on the indies and with multitudes of talent from all across the world. Again, Janela's just that guy who will never get his flowers, said so much to us in an interview, and deserves them all the time. He does more than you'll ever know for the wrestling world. He'll have my respect for a long, long, long time. Also, he's just funny as fuck. Let's face it. He's just really funny.
Oh, that's a terrible match for Sean and Gail.
Sean and Gail against Genesis.
And they get
No, I'm all
killed.
about it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's pitch Sean on it, and it's got to be a death match. I'm now fixated on doing this as a tag team death match. You can't not do it.
I mean, you can. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody needs to see that. I don't think Sean's taking light tubes and stuff. Come on now.
How about that attitude? He's gonna send me to Vegas instead again. So he'll be like,
Yeah.
I can't do this match. You have to go to Vegas and do coverage again. He'll be like,
He's-
no, I can't.
I mean, Sean will go through a door. Sean will get hit with a kendo stick. He will get sat on by Effie. I think he probably draws a line at light tubes and tacks and glass.
Coward.
Maybe for $10,000 he will. Do it.
Which again, it gets donated anyway to a charity of his choosing. So you know what? If he does it for $10,000 to a charity of his choosing, hey, respect to that man. he'll take a bump just for y'all. Amazing. Good Lord. All right. Let's actually talk about Full Gear.
Okay.
It was fine.
It was fine. Good show. Moving
Good
on.
show. Returns, money, stuff happened. So Raw preview tonight. Anyway, do you want to start with tailgate, or you want to get into?
No, tailgate's the last. Who cares about the tailgate, bro?
All right. Well, then we can't talk about Okada showing up.
Yeah, that did roll.
That was very funny.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things where so the show opens up during the tailgate brawl, just like they did last time. They did the mid-match opening to a pay-per-view, and they found a way to make it funnier by having Okada show up as Tailgate Brawl was going off the air, and he did his entrance as the pay-per-view started, and then the match continued and finished. I saw Sean point out, just be like, if I'm WBD, I'm telling AEW never to do that again, because it sounds like they're devaluing the program by saying Okada doesn't work pre-show. But I was like, I don't think they took it that seriously. I think they had the match going, and I don't know if they cared. Regardless, the match itself was very good, and Okada and Takeshita hate each other. It's really what it comes down to.
I do think there is an argument. I don't care. I watched the pay-per-view. I do think there is an argument for people who maybe aren't going to watch the pay-per-view, but they want to watch the tailgate brawl, and then they don't get a finish, and those fans feel a little dissatisfied because again, they're not going to watch the pay-per-view. I know the goal is to, hey, tune in to the pay-per-view, buy the pay-per-view to see the finish, but some people just may not have the money or may not want to see the pay-per-view, and so they feel a little cheaped out of, like, I thought I was getting this match, and now you're not giving me a finish. You're not even giving me Okada in this case. I understand that argument. I would say just buy the pay-per-view, but I understand. What?
That's what it's supposed to do as well.
Yeah. But again, I understand the argument of fans who are not going to buy the pay-per-view. And because I don't, what did, let's see what Tailgate Brawl did last time for Wrestle Dream. Tailgate Brawl, Wrestle Dream viewership. Let's see how many, we don't know the numbers for, so it did 235. And, well, wait, hold on. Oh, that was, oh gosh.
Was that the all one?
No, it looks like it did 184 actually. I don't know why. Oh, the September 14th broadcast. That was a Wednesday, because I think my birthday definitely wasn't on a Sunday this year. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
It was, because you gave Macklin and Deanna shit about dropping their podcast on a Monday.
No, that was a Monday. So my birthday was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, I said Sunday.
14th. Yeah, you said it was September 14th. That was a Sunday.
Yes, but Wrestle Dream wasn't on a Sunday.
It was on the 3rd. Was it on the 20th?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, no, October. It was October 25th.
I'm looking at September.
Yeah, September was All Out. October. We're in November, Jeremy.
Yes, I know.
Yes, so September would have been All Out, not Wrestle Dream. That was a Saturday. September was a All Out on a Saturday.
All right, this is all way too confusing.
You
Wrestle Dream was in October, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The date that you just said was September 14th.
Yes.
Wrestle Dream was in October.
Okay, I know. I get that.
Okay. So what numbers are you looking at?
I'm getting the numbers for All Out, not Wrestle Dream, even though I Googled Wrestle Dream.
Okay. That's what I was trying to.
I don't know where the September 14th broadcast comes from, because that was a Sunday. And did Collision air on a Sunday randomly?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know. People, regardless, dumb conversation. Tailgate Brawl for All Out did 184. I need the Wrestle Dream one, though, because Tailgate Brawl actually did.
All Out was also an afternoon show, so that would have also affected.
Yeah, but that didn't bleed over into
That's
pay-per-view.
True. That's right. Did not.
Why the hell can't I just get the fucking numbers for the Wrestle Dream Tailgate Brawl? Why is this so difficult?
Oh, that's amazing. Ratings. This is very funny.
This is stupid.
What is it? Not on WrestleNomics?
I mean, maybe it is. Okay, I think I got it.
Are you sure?
No.
Let's see.
No, I'm not sure.
You're not?
No.
This is very funny. We're like, let's talk about the show, and now we're completely messed up on this. It is very funny. Oh gosh. How you doing?
I can't. No, I can't find. I give up. I quit.
Oh, no. You quit. It's over.
I quit.
Sorry, friends. We're done.
What day was Wrestle Dream on? This is the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Wrestle Dream was October 18th.
Okay, so maybe I just need to search for like Collision AEW ratings October 18th TNT Rampage. Fuck. Gonna murder somebody.
Yeah. Did they not do?
It was just not get ratings for this fucking thing.
It's actually possible because I don't see it from Brandon. This is very funny to do on air.
All right, maybe we just didn't get ratings for Tailgate. Like, I literally can't find anything. If somebody can find something, please find it. Please tell me, because I can't find anything.
Yeah, I don't see anything either. This is still very funny. Man, ratings. If someone finds the number, tell us. Let us know.
It does not exist.
It doesn't. It never existed.
And it may not. Truthfully, it may not, because there's college football on all day, and so maybe it didn't register on the thing. And then there used to be websites where you could still get the numbers even if it didn't register, but now it's got to register for it to show up.
Yeah.
Well, that was completely pointless. And we accomplished nothing. When we do what did we accomplish today, it will be we did not accomplish getting the October 18th. So I have the October 18th ratings for the day, the entire day.
Are you on Media Spy?
What?
Are you on Media Spy?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, it's another one that does the stuff.
Okay, I'm on Programming Insider. That's where.
Yeah, that's where we usually get.
Yeah, Programming Insider does not have AEW listed in the top whatever they give. So I don't think it was listed, which means I don't know what it did. And the whole point of this was to figure out how many people watched the Tailgate Brawl and then bought the pay-per-view. And if you go by the All Out numbers, about 235, I think it was, is what watched the Tailgate Brawl. And then it did 150,000 buys. That's what Dave says every AEW pay-per-view does. So you're looking at 100,000 people who didn't watch this show. So if you want to convert that to full gear ratings, then you're looking at maybe 100,000 people who watched Tailgate Brawl and may have been upset that they didn't get Okada and didn't get a finish to that match. That was the whole point of this conversation. We got there in the most dumbass way, and I don't even think we actually accomplished anything.
We really didn't. So here's the other side of the coin that kind of brought up. Yes, some people may have been upset about the matches bleeding into the pay-per-view. Meanwhile, I'll bring the TNA perspective for 1 second. They'll do their pre-shows on YouTube, and then they'll have the first match from their pay-per-view or their PLE air live on YouTube as well, as like further reason for you to go and order the pay-per-view. So like there's no wrong way to do it. Like, well, there is, but between those two, those are the ways that they've decided to do it. And I don't think anyone's going to complain about getting bonus action for sure. But the idea was always, we want you to watch the show. When you watched WWF Heat in 1999 or 2000 or when things were on pay-per-view, Heat was used as not only a way to like set up the pay-per-view, but you would get a bonus match on the Heat, and you'd see like the set, and you'd see, you know, the big whatever, a big angle set up for the show, and then they'd want you to go and buy the pay-per-view. I like Tailgate Brawl. I like that they're doing it this way, not just because I'm also watching the pay-per-view, but like I like that they're trying to incentivize the viewer to tune in and watch. Wrestling at its core should be, we're going to fight and we're going to have a match, and the matches mean something. And when you're taking, in this case, you know, this trios match for a title that people are not very, you know, they don't know it. They don't know the CMLL trios titles. They know that AEW has a trios title allegedly of their own, and ROH has them of their own. Say if they're only watching those, yeah, okay, fine. If they see it's a trios match, maybe they recognize Mystico, maybe they recognize other members of Sky Team, but also they recognize the three members of the Don Callis family. The match is good. They're enjoying it. You want to keep watching, you got to watch the pay-per-view. It bleeds over. It's fine. They did the same thing last month, and I get the scrutiny of like, oh my God, they ran out of time. It's like, they didn't. They were trying to incentivize you to buy the damn show, and they were using a hot tag team match that was just building to build into the show. I think that there is a reason to pull back on that and not do it too often. But if you are going to keep doing it, I hope that they continue to find ways to make it interesting enough to end it like that. Okada showing up before the end of the show, that made you interested in seeing what happens next on the pay-per-view. When they did it the first time, they could get away with anything because it was novel. Now they've got to find a way to make it different every time if they continue to do it that way. So I'm not going to fault them for doing it. I understand the argument, but I don't agree with it. So that's where I'm at. And the match itself, again, good. Okada and Takeshita are still at odds. Hechicero was pissed off that he couldn't get the CML trios titles that he always wanted, apparently. And we're back to the Don Callis family having a fight over two alphas, fighting over every single belt you can think of. But really, they just hate each other. It's good.
I can't believe they once again mistimed their 1 hour pre-show.
The worst.
And people got more pay-per-view for their pay-per-view.
It's already a lot of pay-per-view to begin with.
It is a lot of pay-per-view to start with.
Again, the reason why I'm so okay with talking about AEW pay-per-views that happen on Saturday is because I can watch the rest on Sunday and not worry. So then when they open up the actual show, well, after the CMLL trios titles, they do Pac and Darby Allin. So this is a really good, it's a really good match. I like that they did everything to show you we weren't going to involve toys until the very end. I do have to fault Darby. Bless him for doing this. They gave a lot of like special entrances before the entrances, like those little video packages. And they did the Darby Invisible Man thing where he's in the hospital bed and he's got the old TV set up, which was funny in and of itself because it's an old TV. It shouldn't work anyway. But anyway, he comes out onto the stage and he's wearing the big cowl over his face, and commentary's putting it over. They're just like, oh, he could be disfigured. He got so burnt. He could be hurt. Like, he's selling it. I give him full marks for that. And then he takes off the cowl and he's perfectly fine, but he's got like some black paint that he's like spotched here and there. And I'm like, oh, all right, fine. I like that Darby wants to do it. And I get that maybe you can argue it's a psychological thing that he's trying to do with Pac, but Pac is also like the most steadfast, stoic, badass human being that they have looking right now. So for Darby to try it, it's like, oh, you tried, but it failed. So it was understandable, but it wasn't what I would have done. Either way, match was a lot of fun. Eventually, you live by the bat, you die by the bat. And Darby got hoisted by his own bat.
I like that Pac did a rug burn to Darby's burns.
Yes.
That ruled. Darby, as always, absolutely insane person. The gorilla press to the floor, like, oh, that looked like it sucked.
He loves taking those bumps, those to the floor bumps, and then he does the big top rope to the floor missile drop kick while Pac is sitting on the chair.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be worse. I thought he was going to do a front flip and Pac was going to move and he would just eat that chair. So honestly, him doing the shotgun drop kick was the safer option.
And he's got to land on the floor too. That still sucks.
Yeah, but it's safer than doing a front flip blind onto an open chair. That's way worse than just, all right, let me land on the floor like this. Like that still sucks, but of the two, he still took the safer option there. Yeah, I like the reversals with him getting like near the end with the brutalizer into the deathlock, and then Yuta comes out, or Allen gets hit with the bat, and that was the finish. I assume this feud must continue, and we will get Darby and Pac in a flaming tables match.
The feud must always continue.
Yeah,
it can never stop. The commentary putting over that Pac might have a foot, what is a metal plate in his foot.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, bless you, Nigel. You're going to try and make the metal foot thing a part of Pac's whole presentation. The man's already made of granite. What's a little bit of metal in his foot?
Yeah, it's fine.
Why not? Oh, I think it's good. If they make it into like a reason to go after his foot, that's good. He should have some sort of what's the word? Something that you can get to, like a pressure point, but not a pressure point. My words escape me because I did not sleep. Anyway, your favorite match of the night, the 4-way women's tag, to determine who is going to get to choose the stipulation for their particular semifinal match. Toni Storm, who was kept out for a lot of the match, ends up coming in, getting the win. I don't have much to add to this. I assume they're going to do some sort of like street fight-esque match, or a one-hand tied behind my back. There you go. That's the one. Or a dance-off.
Dance-off would be cool.
They should do a dance-off. Who was it? Are they facing Megan Bayne and
yeah, they're facing Bayne and Marina. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. That should be a dance-off.
The match was fine. It was a Joel Pearl fine match. Tony and Marina, the stipulation should be a big bitches band match. And so Megan Bayne, who Tony refers to as a big bitch, cannot be part of the match. I guess Marina is not quite a big bitch. So it's effectively a 2-on-1 match, which doesn't make sense for the baby faces. I don't really care. I just like the big bitches band as a match title, and they should too. Tony loves his alliteration. So that's where I'm going with this.
See, I was under the impression that you meant a band of big bitches, like a grouping of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they had to form a band and learn a song together so that they could save the rec center or something. I don't know.
Save the rec center.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, I know.
The 80s movie you've ever watched. Yeah. That's a Tony thing to do. Every single reference you can make to a film, Tony will do it. I assume it'll be some sort of street fight.
Yes, it'll be a street fight with something, a street fight with a funny name, because maybe it'll be a big bitches brawl. There's your street fight. There's my alliteration there.
That actually might be what you get. Remember to cut this later on. I don't mind. Okay, was the match like meaningless in some way? Yes. I do, like, I'm looking at the women who were in the match, like Willow and Harley. Harley's been doing really well. She's developed at a very quick pace in the last year. Sky Blue, Julia Hart, again, people are really into them and they are good. Megan Bayne is Megan Bayne. Marina Shafir is Marina Shafir. And then you have Tony and Mina, and Tony is she is the star of the division. You put her in a match with a bunch of women that are liked by the audience, whether they're liked as wrestlers, they're being responded to in the right way, whether they're heel or babyface. You put someone like Tony in there, it does elevate those 7 other women who were involved in the match. And I think that's a positive. You have a tag team division that you're trying to establish. Using Tony as that person while she's not in the main event scene for the women is perfectly understandable. And putting her in this match, again, you had to do it because it not only adds another women's match, but it also allows these 4 teams to basically set the tone and be like, we don't suck as a tag team division, and here's why. Now, you didn't need to do the whole, you get to pick a gimmick for your semifinal match. You could have just been, this is a 4-way tag team match and you don't need an advantage. But we've talked about how this has been a weirdly paced women's tag team tournament, both you and SP3 and you and I. So it's just more into what they could have done versus what they did. And it was fine, like you said, and like I would have said. What wasn't fine, what was actually fantastic, was the men's tag team title match. FTR wins again. Brodito have been ousted. They are not done as a tag team. They shouldn't be either. I think it's fine for Brodito to maybe take a break as a tag team going after gold and then reconvene, maybe do the C2 stuff and then come back to it. I think FTR winning the tag team titles is perfectly fine. You want a team like FTR holding your tag team titles who are currently being reheated in a lot of ways, and they don't take much to get reheated. The match was fantastic. You really had all four guys beating the shit out of each other. The counters were good. Even Stokely made it look fun. Like he was well involved in the match.
Stokely got wiped out.
He got wiped the F out, and he was really good. So I got to give it to all five guys involved in the match. It was a fantastic match. Like I said, Brodito taking a quick break, not a long one, and then coming back to it, I think that would be okay, and it would be well served. While FTR continue to build towards what I assume is going to be a Cope and Christian reunion, where, again, I say it, you don't need the tag titles, but if this is the story that they're going to do, then we're just going to have to be along for the ride, whatever that means. But the match on Saturday was really friggin' good.
They had me a couple of times on the near falls at the end there, and that's a credit to everybody. It was a fantastic match. I wish that Brodito's run lasted longer. I don't think if they are going to do Cope and Christian, I don't think FTR Cope and Christian needs the tag team titles. But I guess if it gets FTR the victory, since Cope and Christian won last time, they did win last time, right? Because then Beth got beat up afterwards. So yeah, like that makes sense. But overall, like, this match was great. Brody and Bandito have come so far in such a short period of time of being a team. Like, they kind of had immediate chemistry, and they clearly have like a bond off screen as well. They sent nice messages to each other on Twitter and everything. Like, I hope it's not the end of them forever. I hear what you're saying about maybe Brody or Bandito does the C2. I think that's cool. And then they get back together, go on another run to start 2026. I'm all for that. But I hope it's not the end of everything with them, because they're a fantastic team and I want to see more of them.
And it shouldn't be. You can even tell the story where Brody goes into the C2, he loses. Bandito goes into Final Battle, maybe he faces someone that he loses the ROH title to, and then they come back and they're like, we're a pretty damn good tag team. Let's get back together and capture gold together. Like a redemption of sorts. Maybe that's a story you can tell to end 2025 and lead them into a 2026 where they're chasing, rebuilding, and eventually winning those titles back. I would like to see that. But at least to finish this year, a month away, where they're just doing single stuff, where they prove that they're both very good at doing singles to people who may not have seen them do it for a while. That's a good way to kind of tell that story.
Yeah. And like FTR, as long as they're not doing Cope and Christian stuff, I'm all for them. But now they're going to do Cope and Christian stuff more, and I got to dislike them again. I did like Stokely's belly intro for people who got it, and I'm sure some people didn't.
I didn't at the time.
Of course you didn't.
I had to go back and educate myself.
Yeah.
I was like, I know this is something. But eventually I was clued in. And good for him. It's good. Listen, he should continue to do shit like this. Why not? If it gets people excited about it, why not? I like it. But yeah, fantastic match. Really, really good stuff, because like you said, the reversals towards the end were getting you. They got me too. And there were a couple where I was like, ain't no way. Like the reversal on the Doomsday device, where Bandito turned it around, flipped it around. I thought that was really good stuff. There was, again, a solid match. Go back and watch it. It was a really, really fun match. Casino Gauntlet match. Ricochet is the inaugural national champion. And I immediately, when they showed the belts, I posted the thumbnail that I had made for literally that. When they announced the title, I found the best quality NWA national championship belt I could find, and I just put an AEW logo over top of it, and that was it for that day. I did not expect them to copy my homework, Jeremy, but they did, and they colored it red.
Yeah, the belt looks exactly like the NWA national title, which they ain't beating those allegations clearly. The match was, of all the Casino Gauntlet matches, this one existed.
This was the Casino Gauntliest.
I like the start
Yes.
with Lashley and Shelton, and then they were going to do some amateur wrestling, and then like 30 seconds in, Ricochet's music hit. I like his whole thing where Gates of Agony attacked them and everything. There were no big surprises, and there were really no surprises in this thing. It was all people who were under contract that you would expect to be in the match. Ricochet won, which not super unexpected. I think we talked about it on Thursday and Friday of Ricochet winning because he got beat up so bad by Lashley. It is a little questionable of Lashley beat the hell out of this man in 3 minutes and now he's the champion, but it works for Ricochet's, shtick. His act of he's kind of an overconfident, over the top, not comedy character, but super cocky guy who like doesn't think he can do any wrong, and so he meets Bobby Lashley and he gets his ass beat, but then he wins the title in this manner. He's gonna have great matches with it, but I understand where people are like, wait a second, didn't we just see this dude get beat in 3 minutes by Bobby Lashley? Why is he the champion? Why are we supposed to take this guy serious? I get that aspect of it, but I like Ricochet as the first champion. I think his work has been so good this past year as a heel to where I think he can actually do something with this championship, where if Lashley held it, it's just like, all right, Lashley's just he's gonna beat dudes, and then he's gonna lose the title in a triple threat match because he ain't losing the title. At least Ricochet will go out there and he will put the work in. He's actually gonna wrestle ROH.
We'll send the message, Louis, in about 7 months to the NWA that you are in fact standing up for them.
Yeah.
I think everything in the Casino Gauntlet this time was made to make sense of who was feuding with whom at the time. So like they did a good job of using who they had to establish who's feuding with who. So her business and her syndicate and the Demand. So Ricochet and everyone, and then Death Riders and literally everyone. But then you had Matt Menard come out, and then you had Speedball and Kevin Knight, who had already been announced for the thing. And then Conglomeration again with Death Riders. So like they did something to at least make the entrance make sense and the participants make sense. Yes, it was a very Casino Gauntlet for the sake of Casino Gauntlet type of match for a belt that arguably doesn't need to exist. But again, I don't know what they're going to do with it other than allegedly defend it in other companies. But also worth noting, Ricochet hasn't worked any indies outside of House of Glory for one show. Other than that, he did the FSW tribute to Bay, and I think that's it. I don't think that Ricochet's out there working indies, but if he's going to do CMLL and he's going to do ROH, then, or New Japan even, then I guess you can use that. But you have a title belt now that has AEW branding all over it. Are you going to allow CMLL talent to win it? New Japan talent to win it? Like what's the expectation? What are those bridges going to look like when you have to cross them? Ricochet is a perfectly cromulent winner. That's what it comes down to. And the match was, it told a story. I understand why it wouldn't be everyone's favorite match, but overall, like, it existed. I think the most important thing coming out of all of this is that Ricochet is unliked by everyone, disliked by everyone.
Ricochet should go to NWA and defend the title.
Honestly, I think that'd be very funny if this turned into an opportunity for them to work together. Billy brings out Ricochet. Who's he going to face? Who's the title? Who's got the title in NWA? Idol?
Is it Mike Mondo or is it
Yes.
Brian? Yeah.
I don't know, man. One of those two. Whoever.
I'm pretty sure it's Mike Mondo. He won it recently.
Recently, like 6 months ago. But regardless, the point of this being, if they did it, even if Mondo won, you wouldn't know because they wouldn't air it for 6 months.
Yeah, true.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Like you said, he's going to show up. Ricochet is going to show up at GalaxyCon and put the belt on the line at Final Battle against two. I don't know. I assume someone from CMLL, not from Ring of Honor. They're just going to put the belt on, and that'll be that. The buried belt. Bobby Lashley should come out of Final Battle and be like, It's my belt. And they'll be like, no, Bobby, Collision's tomorrow night. He's like, I don't work that show either. And then that's it. Beats up Ricochet one more time.
He's worked Collision, hasn't he?
Probably. That's just good for the bit that Bobby doesn't work
Right.
anything but Dynamite.
Yeah.
I don't really care when he works.
No, it's beast that he doesn't work.
They certainly haven't beaten the allegations of the Demand and the Hurt Syndicate moving forward, because immediately it's like you had the Shelton and Bobby face off for 10 seconds, and then Ricochet comes out. First of all, man after my own heart, because he's just like, nobody paid for this wrestling bullshit. And I'm like, yes, Ricochet, yes, no wrestling bullshit. And then immediately it's like he goes to take out MVP, and it's just like it's just the Demand comes out and they beat up the Hurt Syndicate, and you're just like, all right, so this continues. All right, sure. And then the Hurt Syndicate is like nowhere to be found for the rest of the match.
Yeah, they were out for a while. I was hoping they'd just come in there and just win the titles, or win the title. Be like, yeah, we just lay out the entire match, come in, pin whichever dork we're gonna pin, and now the chain. They should have done the finger poke of doom. They would try to do wrestling, and then see they didn't even win the title. Could have just done finger poke of doom, won the title, move forward. Cowardly. MVP should coach them better than that.
God forbid. MVP's got to get himself over and bury everyone on commentary instead.
Dude, Tyrus against Ricochet would be an amazing match.
You ever seen a big fat guy go after a fly?
It'd be, go back and watch Ospreay and Vader. It'd be that, except Tyrus is much worse than 50-year-old or however old Vader was, honestly. But that's what it would look like effectively.
Good Lord. Shout out, Leon. Jesus. Kyle O'Reilly defeats Jon Moxley, gets him in that ankle lock again with the chain, beats him. They're both out now. One's out of action. One, and it's just fork central, baby. Forking and screwing. $10,000, Jeremy. We aren't there yet. We haven't even crossed $100.
I know. I'm not going all the way, but I'm showing people how committed I am. Like Jon Moxley just pulling out a fork out of nowhere. I think Jon Moxley like literally pulls a fork out of his ass in this stuff.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I think he has pockets.
I tried to ask Renee, like, do you order these forks by the bulk? Is it the same fork? Does he just go around stealing forks from catering? These are a lot of questions I have about Moxley's fork acquisition here.
And did nobody ask the question at the scrum?
No, everybody at the scrum was a bunch of cowards.
Everyone.
Kimmy's there talking about ROH.
There's a show next week. ROH, you're going to be there. Why would you ask now? Nobody cares.
Cowardly.
Renee was right there. You could have asked her. Once again, I'm going to remind our media friends. The questions you don't think you should ask because they're silly usually end up with the most newsworthy response. Jack Harlow's going to win the ROH World title.
I hope so.
Jack Harlow specifically, not Blake Christian.
Yeah,
I know what I said.
Yeah.
I want people to know that I know what I said. They didn't pay for Lovin' on Me. They paid for Jack Harlow to get a damn ROH contract, train, and beat Bandito in a match. That's what we're working towards. Anyway, I thought O'Reilly and Mox was a really, really good match. This was a good example of not needing a title to blow off of a mini feud. Did you need to do this match? Not necessarily, but did you showcase O'Reilly and maybe even bump him up a few notches with this match? Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, whatever it is that's keeping O'Reilly from possibly working the C2 is not a long-term deal and he's not injured. That would suck. But O'Reilly winning is a great opportunity for him. I hope that they continue to work with it. And Moxley doesn't look bad in defeat because it furthers his story with the Death Riders and everything that he does to look like a giant bitch.
I love this match. I had a nice mix of violence, as you would expect, and actual, like, I know literal chain wrestling, but actual like wrestling with some counters and psychology and everything. Thought this match was great and a nice change of pace from the rest of the show as well. I'm happy Kyle O'Reilly won because that was the right call. It is going to suck if he is out for an extended period of time, and like they can't do a proper follow-up to this though, because theoretically O'Reilly should be moving on to a much bigger thing after. I mean, you've tapped out Jon Moxley, multi-time champion, held the title for 8 months earlier this year, dating back to last year, and it is one of the top guys in the company. If you've tapped him out twice in the span of 10 days, you should be elevated into something bigger off of that. Unfortunately, because of the injury, I don't know if that's going to happen. Hopefully, when he comes back, that does happen, because I think AEW sometimes does have a problem elevating people up off of wins like this. And I'll kind of tell you what I'm talking about a little bit more in the main event portion of things, because I'm very mad over that man. I'm threatening people with the fork. I'm very mad over the end of the main event here. But yeah, it's O'Reilly should get elevated off of this whole thing. And because he might be out, I'm not sure it's going to happen, which sucks.
O'Reilly loves using that chain, by the way. It's like his favorite thing.
Good for him.
Chains around knees. Remember, he was doing that in NXT too.
I respect it.
Yeah, you got to pick. Listen, you got to pick a fork. You got to pick a chain. Everyone's got to get their signature weapon. Look, Darby Allin's got the bat, inherited from Sting. So everyone should have one thing. You can't use a fork. What would your weapon be?
No, I wouldn't use a fork. Anyway, that's Jon Moxley's weapon. So
would it be a spoon then?
Nah, I would just use cake. I would just throw cake at opponents. I think it looks cool. And then it would distract them, because they'll be like, oh, look at this cake. And then I'd pin them.
Yeah, that works.
I'd shove it in their mouth as well. Get them all fat and filled up.
You got to put that fork down. It's getting weird.
Nah, I'm keeping it up for as long as we're talking about this match.
We're about to transition to the other match, so you got to pick up the other instrument.
Okay.
All right, put it down.
No.
Put it down.
No.
TNT Championship. No disqualification, because how do you follow up a no holds barred match? You give them a no disqualification title match. Mark Briscoe wins the TNT Championship versus Kyle Fletcher. This match had everything, and this is why actually I do appreciate that Moxley and Kyle O'Reilly focused on two major instruments to get over in their match versus the TNT title match where they used everything. So it was a tale of two different styles of gory, bloody matches. I think you can make the argument, and many people have, that this could have been placed in different parts of the card. But if you understood what they were trying to do in terms of usage of weapons, then you can get over it and kind of work with it. Lots of blood on all sides, as expected. But Mark Briscoe was very over with that crowd. Everyone wanted to see him win. Kyle Fletcher was getting booed, but also getting he has his fleshlights. Come on, he's got his people. But at the end of the day, he gets hoisted by his own petard. He everything gets used against him, and he loses the TNT title. Mark Briscoe is the new TNT champion, looks up at the sky and salutes his brother his brother Jay. You cannot invoke faith in a pre-match video like that and not give the big win to the guy who was challenging for the title. This is my only bit of criticism, and this is so minute, so I'm not spending much time on it. I don't love immediately gifting the new TNT title belt to the champion. That's just, and again, this is such a small thing. It's like, could you have waited till Wednesday to do it to make it look like it wasn't already planned that he was going to win the belt? But I'm willing to just let that go, because again, you could have made the argument like Tony has 1 billion belts that he's made that are sitting on shelves somewhere. So again, I let it go. But the match itself was a really, really strong match. And I'm a big fan of Mark Briscoe getting the TNT title out of it.
I'll defend the custom belt thing of, let's say it was Orange Cassidy, that's who gifted him the title. He was confident in his guy. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make this custom title because I know Mark's going to win. So I'm going to have it ready for him when he does win. So I also like the idea that Tony just like has a custom belt for everyone on the roster.
See, that's why I'm like, I'm just gonna let it go, because it's not like from a kayfabe point of view. I'm like, man, he could have waited till Wednesday and made it look like, this is so special. We put a rush job on it. And instead, they're like, yeah, so we had this lying around in the back, and like, here. So for that, it's like whatever. But Mark's a deserving champion. Kyle Fletcher looked great having that title as long as he did. And again, just because you lose it doesn't mean you can't regain it. And I think the story between these two was very well told. I do kind of wish that you could have done Mark joining the Don Callis family for a little bit, because again, some people bandied about the idea that Mark joins and he loves it. He's having a great time. He's enjoying the high life and just making it hell for them while he's enjoying himself. But instead we went for, he wins the title, good enough, and let's go.
I don't think there was a wrong winner here, because Briscoe joining Don Callis family would have been hilarious and you could have done some really fun stuff with that. But I also just like Mark Briscoe winning, because I think Mark Briscoe deserves everything and he rules, and him being the champion is cool with me. Now he's going to be in the C2, and basically every champion's going to be in the C2 and never defend their titles. We're going to have the TNT champion, we're going to have the national champion, the Continental, International, Unified is all the same damn champion. So 5 titles right there. Just Samoa Joe's going to enter this thing as well, and we're just going to have no title defenses. It's going to be nothing but C2.
I will say, going back to the C2 stuff, I will put this out there. They have a lot of like preempted shows between now and World's End, where I assume the C2 will end, because that's traditionally where it ends. So like they're not going to lose anything by just having all the title holders in the C2. So yeah. I'm not against the idea, and I'm just like, I understand the criticism, but I'm like, there's a bunch of shows that people are either just going to follow or not watch, or just it's not going to be a boom period for the next month. So like, honestly, you do it, I'll just be like, it's like doing the G1 for New Japan. Some of the title holders are in the damn G1. Go for it.
Actually get matches out of this, because I thought that's where they failed the last couple of years. Is Garcia just won the TNT title, and instead of facing people who we should have faced coming out of that, he faced Mark Briscoe. And not only faced Mark Briscoe, but he was like, no, I don't want to face you, even though I just won the title and you beat me. Like, it was so dumb. It was very dumb. I think they should use the C2 to set up more stuff, especially if you're going to have these champions involved. Use the C2 to set up more title matches for World's End, instead of doing the all-star C2 tag match at World's End that they've been doing. I'd rather, if Ricochet, Briscoe are going to be in this tournament, if somebody beats them in the tournament, like, give them a title shot at World's End. So there's a story there, and you're getting a title match there. I don't need an all-star tag with C2 competitors. Put that shit on Dynamite if you really care that much about it. Briscoe and Fletcher, really enjoyed this match as well. Going back-to-back with these two matches was like, I don't know about that. But I will say they did a great job of differentiating things, because they used stuff that O'Reilly and Moxley did not use, because they brought up the tables, they brought up the ladders, they brought out the barbed wire, and Moxley and O'Reilly, they had chairs, and they had the fork and the chain. So they did a good job of at least not doubling up on, like, didn't we just see this? So I give them credit for that. Not a full criticism, but it's just kind of a wrestling trope of what happens is they bring out the barbed wire table, and it doesn't take me out of the match, but I'm like, nothing matters until this barbed wire table gets broken. So when Fletcher like stabs him with the screwdriver and then does the brain buster, I'm like, this isn't the finish. That barbed wire table is still set up. This is not the finish here, because you don't bring out something like that unless you're putting somebody through it. And if the thing is still standing, no near fall matters to me. Not totally their fault, but also just something I notice as someone who's watched too much wrestling and is like, this isn't the finish. I'm sorry. I did like the finish overall, the Razor's Edge and then the J Driller onto the tacks. I did like that. Overall, I did really love this match. It's just once you bring out something like a barbed wire table, you're telling me this thing's got to be broken before we do anything, and you're taking me out of a couple of near falls at that point. And so it did take me out of the Fletcher near fall when he hit the brain buster onto the tacks after stabbing him with the screwdriver. Because I'm like, no, that barbed wire table's still standing, man. This ain't going nowhere. Yeah,
I agree. It was still good, but you needed a barbed wire table. Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have no problem with them using it. It's just my
You're
call
just smart.
nitpick or whatever.
No, it's
but
just not being smart and watching enough wrestling. You just
Fletcher should have put him through the barbed wire table. That's what I'm saying.
well, who introduced it?
Mark introduced it, I'm pretty sure, because I think there was that spot where he tries to like slide it into the ring and the table leg was caught on the apron, and he's like, "Fuck this table," and that rolled.
So I was gonna say, because traditionally, if you introduced it, you're going through it. So I don't know. That's why I'm like, who did introduce it? But
I think Mark brought it out.
But that's the thing. You can get around it if you're just like, if it's not a blood feud, but it's an intense match, so you can sometimes get around it. But traditionally, it used to be you introduce it. Yeah, like Wheeler's saying, wrestling trope. Whoever sets it gets put through it. That's usually how it goes. But they don't always stick to it. Either way, again, very very good match, very fun match. Yeah, looking forward to Mark Briscoe doing the TNT title run and joining the C2 field and never defending the title again. That's the way it should be, baby. That's the way it should be. $1 Million Trios match. Josh Alexander, the Young Bucks, they defeat Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express. The Jurassic Elite, we're doing it. Early in this match, commentary really got me thinking, will Kenny get the Danielson retirement treatment? In that Danielson's whole thing was, I win the title, and then when I lose it, I'm done. And I'm wondering if Kenny's going to do something like that on his last run, if you will, his last full-time run. Because in this match, like he's doing the things, but he's doing, you can tell that he's playing up as like he's on borrowed time, that he's not going to be going at the pace that he's always going to go for. He's in a 6-man tag. It's not a one-on-one match. Those are going to be especially special. But the story obviously being the Young Bucks needing to find their redemption and reunite with their friend and not join the Don Callis family, but also realize that money isn't everything and we can still have our roots and blah, 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 family and things like that. Basically, Jeremy's favorite story without stealing cars. But the match was really, really good. I'm not going to say it was fantastic. I think one funny part was, what was it? It was Luchasaurus drops one of the Jacksons so hard. And if you look closely, you can see Kenny giving Luchasaurus shit in the corner afterwards, like after the spot, after they both tagged out. You can see Kenny just be like, what the fuck were you doing? Kind of give him an earful, but it was just a moment. But otherwise, like, again, very, very strong match. The finish, they turn it up to like a packed finish, which is a very Young Bucks thing to do. But like everyone stayed with it, everyone kept with it. And then the winners didn't matter because it was all about doing the reuniting of the Elite. But I will say this, Kenny doing the one-winged angel on the floor. Josh Alexander towards the end looked really good. Josh looked good in the match. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of him, but this was really good. And the Jurassic Elite are next up.
Kenny Omega is just Klay Thompson, and he showed it once again.
Jesus.
In this match. It was very funny. So I didn't have the Memphis and Dallas game on, but I saw the stuff where Klay Thompson and Ja Morant were going back and forth, and Klay missed a game-tying 3, like literally seconds before Kenny Omega made his entrance. I was like, this is fitting. Here's this guy who I called washed because sorry, Klay. And he misses his game-tying 3, and the comparison I gave was Omega, and here's Omega making his entrance. Overall, the match was good. It was what you kind of expect from a Bucks 6-man tag, especially given the other people in the ring. They are great at laying these matches out. They're great at hitting all the spots that they need to hit, and they're great at putting together the finishing sequence with everything. And that's what they did here. You know, if you like Young Bucks matches, you probably really enjoyed this. If you don't like Young Bucks matches, then you're probably like, all right, this is too much for me. Was it a top tier trios Young Bucks match? No, but it was still good. And the big thing here was, of course, the story with the Elite afterwards, and they won the $1 million, but that wasn't good enough. Or I guess it was good enough, but Don Callis wanted them to continue to attack Kenny Omega. I did not love that my guy Jack Perry took the loss here. I was very upset over that. Luchasaurus is there to take these kind of L's. Why is Jack Perry getting jacked on in this match?
Well, sometimes you get jacked on and sometimes you get jacked off. That's just the way it goes.
No. It should always be jacking off. Never jack on Jack Perry. Always jack off.
Better to be jacked off than jacked on. I get it. Anything else to add about the match?
No.
The Young Bucks make the save. They reunite. They did. This was my funniest thing. They do both Young Bucks. They both extend their hands to shake Kenny's hand. I'm like, there's two of them and one of him. He's not going to shake both of their hands. They're going to.
Oh, they're gonna hug.
They're gonna hug. It's just very funny. I'm like, he's not gonna shake their hands. He's gonna hug them, but he's gonna do it in the most Kenny Omega way possible, which is awkward. So, kudos to them. They got back together. The money doesn't matter. I really hope that on Wednesday the Bucks go to Kenny and they're all friends again, and they end the segment with like, "Can I borrow $100,000? I never got my cut from last match." And Kenny being like, "All right, fine."
I hope they do something with this.
Yeah, they'll come out to Carry On My Wayward Son at the pay-per-view, and everyone will be happy about it.
We've just seen this so many times, and it feels like and it's not totally their fault on the latest, because Kenny was out for a year, unfortunately, and he's come back, and I truly just don't know how much like single stuff he wants to do at this point. But like they missed the boat on doing a Kenny and Jack Perry singles match, because they were kind of setting that up when they dumped the organs on the cake and everything. They missed the boat on just doing more with like Kenny and the Bucks. Like it was an elite reunion, but it never felt like there was a heat between them. It always felt like it was, oh, well, the Young Bucks need money, and Don Callis is offering them money. Here's Kenny Omega because he's feuding with the Don Callis family. It never felt like there was anything between the Bucks and it never felt like there was anything between the Bucks and Omega, even though there should have been, based on what happened last year when he got taken out by them and sent to the hospital with Okada and everything. Like Don Callis had become so central to all of this, and it became less about, again, the Bucks and Kenny and more about Don Callis. And now my fear moving forward is it's just going to be more elite and Don Callis stuff. And I do not care about that. If you're going to do this elite reunion, which they are, then you got to give me something more than, hey, here's a bunch of trios matches with the Don Callis family, because you can do about 15 different iterations of the Don Callis family. Let them go after the Ops. The Ops are running things right now. They got the trios titles. Joe's got the world title. Let them go after the Hurt Syndicate are kind of baby faces now, so I don't know if you can do that. Like, do something different and go after Ricochet and the Demand, because I'm tired of the Demand against the Hurt Syndicate. Like, you've got other options. Have them. I know the Death Riders are kind of doing their own thing, but do something with the Death Riders. There's other potential avenues there with the Elite that is not just, let's continue to live in our own bubble with the Don Callis family and just kind of doing our own little thing here. I'm fine with the Elite reunion. I think Kenny Omega is one of the best ever, even though he's now washed and he was carried by Kota Ibushi all those years. But if they're just going to keep doing Don Callis family stuff, I don't really have an interest in it. I want to see them do something a little bit different.
Ken's adding in from being at the show. He says Don Callis family is way, way overexposed, and he was out there for half the show. And I understand that. It's like, you want to be in the Don Callis like business in this case, because he does a good job of getting the heat and getting the guys, hated. But at the same time, if you're overexposing Don and he's there all the time and he's always on commentary and he's always in the backstage segments, yeah, you can get Don Callis burnout. So when was it Ibu said something about like 70% of the serviceable work rate heels are in the Don Callis family. And it wasn't like he wasn't using that as like the statistic, but the idea being that like the majority of the heels are in Don Callis family, and you can't just stack everyone into one group and then use Don as like the conduit through which they travel. Some of them are also talkers. Like Don's there supposed to be talking for certain members, but like Josh can speak, Okada can cut a promo, Takeshita is fine. Like you have all these guys who do a good job. Could you be a mouthpiece for Mark Davis? Yeah, of course. Kyle Fletcher certainly does not need it anymore. So I think with Don, you just have to be careful with how you continue to position him and let some of the other guys explore being on their own and being like, Don, I've got this. Stay in the back. And let that be not breaking away from the family, but trying to find some trust away from just being a Don Callis family member.
I mean, if 70%'s in Don Callis family, the other 30 are in the Death Riders because
That's also
they
true.
have
What about
Yuta
the
and I mean, they're not heels anymore. So
what about the
listen,
demand? There's the demand.
Yeah, I mean, that's 3 people. And just
listen, all this, if you want to get the demand versus the Hurt Syndicate out of the way, you call them the Elite Syndicate, and then you can have the demand match.
I just hope the Elite does stuff with other people and not just more Don Callis family stuff. We're gonna get Omega like talking to Takeshita and being like, "You don't want to be with these people," and blah blah
You're better
blah.
than this.
Nah,
You're better than. And Takeshita being like, "No, I'm not," and Okada being like, "He's a bitch," and then he just keeps doing that.
I just want them to like do something interesting. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. Is just do something interesting because I didn't think the reunion was all that interesting.
Well, I think that's because it was such a. Sorry to cut you off. I think it's because the Young Bucks, for better or worse, are very good at like making it syrupy and schmoopy and like hitting you over the head with like, this is what we're going to do. This is what's happening. They're not good, like storytellers, but they're good in-ring storytellers. You know what I'm trying to say? That you knew this was coming. You knew it because it was so heavy-handed. It was so over the top that like it felt like an indie storyline being told on televised network or on a television pay-per-view. So for that, it's like that's pretty typical Young Bucks fodder. And some people are going to eat that up because it's very soap opera drippy bullshit. But other people, like maybe you and me, are going to be like, it could have been a little more nuanced because I like something that's a little more thought out from a television perspective.
And my issue with it was just it didn't feel like they did enough with the heat between the Bucks and Omega. The whole thing just felt too much centered around Don Callis and the Bucks being broke. And on their own, both of those things are like fine storylines, but it didn't feel like it was enough of Kenny Omega does not like the Young Bucks for all they did. Because even like Omega just being like, oh yeah, cool, Jack Perry and Luchasaurus, we're just pals now. Even though I know they did the segment, but I think that's literally all it was, like one segment of, all right, we're just, okay, I see what happened here. We're just friends now. Like there should have just been more to all of that stuff. Because remember, we thought we were going to get, at least some people did, of Omega and Hangman against the Bucks. People thought that was going to be a potential arc, and that never went anywhere. And Kenny just Kenny was more battling the Don Callis family here than anything to do with the Bucks. It didn't feel rewarding for this reunion. It felt like it was hey, we want to do this because we need to get the Bucks back babyface, and this is the way to do it. So we're just going to put the Elite back together.
I think honestly, at the end of the day, we're going to look at this and be like, it's just not our story. It's very much you'll see online the elite girlies type of conversation, and it'll be like, and you know what? If they love it, great, because wrestling it's a variety show, and maybe this story is just not the one that you and I would tell, but it's certainly getting some people excited, and I'm just gonna have to run with that.
If people like it, more.
No, go ahead, bury the elite girlies. Do it, Jeremy. Bury them.
Like I like all of these people. That's the thing, is I like them all individually and as a team. I just wish the payoff was just a little bit more rewarding. That's it.
Yeah, fair. Chris Statlander is the #1 women's wrestler in AEW. There are no questions asked. You cannot ask again. This has cemented her. Not all the other times that she's won matches, including the AEW women's title, which she did win, at All Out. So now this has done it. This has made her the #1 women's wrestler in AEW. She is an alien, and she has defeated Mercedes Moné, who came out with a bunch of dudes holding that belt because that's just what you do now. And one dude for every belt, and then there are going to be more belts and more dudes, and eventually it's going to be the entire AEW roster just carrying them belts out for Mercedes. This match, I will say, I know we make the joke this was fine. I would say this match was fine. I think their other matches may have been a little bit stronger. I don't think this was a bad match by any stretch. I just thought it was good. It was a long match. And if they wanted to show that the women's division, especially at the top, deserved to go those 20 plus minutes, then this was a match that you can point to and be like, yes, this deep into a pay-per-view, did it need to go 20 plus minutes? Arguably, no, just because it's tiring. But that's, again, in the eye of the beholder. If you're watching the show and you're into all 5.5 hours, you're going to love it. It's good. I took the time off. I came back to it, and I was like, yes, this match was very good. It was very well worked. I like that they did the 13, 14 suplexes. The what do you call it? Oh my gosh.
3 Amigos.
3 Amigos, which became the 13 Amigos.
14 Amigos, yeah.
We need so many Amigos. I don't even have 2 Amigos to stick together. So good for Mercedes for having that many more. And yeah, at the end of the day, this was a good match. It wasn't my favorite, but Chris Statlander wins, and she is the woman of AEW, number 1. No questions asked. Don't ask again.
I think this match would have been much better received if it didn't take place at 11:30.
There you go.
And people knew that there was also still the main event to come. Like, it had to follow 2 bloody violent matches and an elite reunion, which for the AEW audience, that's stuff AEW's kind of been built on. Honestly, the blood stuff is how they've differentiated from WWE, and the elite is the elite. They are the founding fathers of the company. So the crowd for this match didn't really get into it until a little bit later on. I felt a little bit bad for them because I thought they were working a really good match early. It's just the crowd was not really into anything because, again, look what they had to follow. And even the Elite reunion, you can take that. Just look at the match itself, the trios match. It's a lot of top tier spots. And this was not a match until later on when things started to pick up that they were just going to do a bunch of high spots and everything. They were trying to work a wrestling match, and crowd wasn't here for working a wrestling match at 11:30. They're like, nah. And they had a cage match to come as well. So I thought it was a good match, though. I thought they both worked really hard. I liked all the callback spots and everything. It was unfortunate where they placed this match because I don't think they really stood a chance, given the placement, given the layout, to win over the crowd. The crowd was hit and miss all night as well. There was one match, I don't quite remember what it was, but there was a light smattering. It may have been this match. I apologize if it's not. Maybe someone can tell me. But there was like a light smattering of like, this is awesome. And then there was a lighter smattering of no, it's not. And I was like, this is awful that they can't even get like a good this is awesome chant going. And then they don't even have the energy to have a no, it's not chant isn't great. But they didn't have the energy to combat with no, it's not. Like, man, this sucks. I didn't think the crowd was great all night, but these women were not put in a good position for this match.
And that's the problem, is because you want to put the women's world championship high on the card when your men's world championship is going to be the main event. You don't want to make it look like one is less important than the other from an optic standpoint. However, if this opened up the show and they had a very strong 20-minute match, you can make the argument that like this was this was as good as the last match on the show, but then other people are going to be like, oh, it opened up the show, so it's not that important. And it's Mercedes, so you do want to put her on later in the night because people are very much there for her. It's tough. Again, it goes into the shows are long. You got to be ready to be there for the entire show if you're there live, and if you're watching at home, you got to stay up for your favorites if you want to see them or watch it the next day. So I can't get upset about it. It's the way they do it now, and it's just the way it is. But it's a long match to put on a long night, but it was still a good match, and that's the problem. It's not going to change. So it's either you change or you're just going to hate it. The timing, I mean.
Ken is confirming it was this match that they did this is awesome. No, it's not. Light smattering. I don't want to make it sound like it was the whole match, but it was very early and just you had to be paying attention to hear a lot of it. But yeah, I just wish they got better placement here than they got.
Where would you have put them?
Maybe between the Moxley, O'Reilly, and Fletcher and Briscoe to give a break between those two violent matches, and you do something a little bit different with get more of a straightforward wrestling match, and then the crowd maybe they come down a little bit, but still get up for the big points in the match, because they just, instead of that, they completely crashed and they tried to get up for the big points in the match, but it wasn't the reaction you would hope for a match like this.
That's the thing. I don't see them doing it in between those two matches because it'll be seen as a popcorn match. It'll be considered as a break between bloody, gory matches, and therefore not as important. That's the concern I would have. That's why I'm saying put it on first, and then it makes it look like you're bookending your world title matches. And then eventually you will have to get to a point, because fans will want it, that you have a women's world title match main event the show and is the last match on your pay-per-view. And at that point, yes, the men's world title match goes on first, the women go on last. Like, there's a way to do it. It just, you could have done it. You could have done it in a way that made it look exciting without making it feel like you're going to do the women's world title match as like a come down from one blood match to build to another.
I do like if you put it on first. I think that would have been a good spot for it as well. So I would have been fine with first.
Yeah. And then the final match, the main event. Mimosa Joe is your new AEW men's world champion. He wins the steel cage match over Hangman Adam Page. AEW is out of business. It's over. I'm sorry. All the Hangman super fan, I want to call them Hangman girlies, but then I feel like I'm calling the elite girlies, but they're all the same. Like, no,
Hangman's hoes.
No, that's much worse. Now you're making it feel like I'm very much sexualizing and genderizing these people. That's not what I'm doing.
Men can be hoes too.
True. Either way, Joe's hoes are the big winners of this one. Mimosa Joe captures the title. The big story out of this, the big story is Hook is still with the Ops. Was it an inside job? Who knows? The Ops dojo, baby, we should have seen it coming. Grand opening, grand closing, because Swerve came back. He looked like he ate Swerve. And this is a very, it's not, I don't think it's convoluted per se. They did a lot in a very short amount of time. They really got to the blood very quickly. They really got to the match and the beatdown really quickly. But Joe winning the title surprised a lot of people. Others are, jumping back and being like, "Oh, it was a second title shot. He had to do it, and he was a fresh heel turn." I understand it, but I think in the moment, most people were going into this being like, "Yeah, Hangman's going to win, and Joe's going to go back to just being the trios champion." By the way, Joe is still a trios champion, right? The trios, they still have those. All right, just making sure. So yeah, I thought it was a good match because it told a very, very solid story. Hook coming in is going to add a lot of questions and intrigue, and I know that Hook's not very super over, but the only thing I can ask is, does this mean we're going to get a better song for Hook now? We're going to get rid of the other one. Maybe can't bring back Action Bronson. Although I heard that maybe they're back on the same page, so who knows? 2 titles for Joe, and Prince Nana needs a new dance because that does not go with the new Swerve. I watched it. I was just like, in no way do these beats match up, Nana. What are we doing? Anyway, again, lots of storytelling in this, and we're gonna have to start deciphering it come Wednesday when they follow up.
I hate interference in cage matches, but it's just the normal now.
You just got to deal with it.
I mean, I don't have to. I can still complain loudly on this podcast and online.
No, then they're gonna leave thumbs down and very mean comments. It's like how we're actually TNA haters, and people really, or how we're old because. Sorry, going to go on a tangent. Once again, athletes are overpaid. Doctors and nurses are underpaid. And if you think otherwise, you might be an idiot. Continue.
I mean, sure. I didn't like the interference in a cage match, but I saw it coming because they always do interference in a cage match. It's just they can't help themselves. The Hook stuff. I don't mind Hook. But just putting him back in the Ops just feels like such a lateral move after he lost twice to Joe. So was he an inside agent and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to lose these matches to Joe so we don't win the trios titles and Joe does get his title match? Was that the gimmick here? Did he get spoken to by Joe or somebody before and like, hey, what if you came back to us? I think there was a better story and elevation of Hook. If Joe was his kryptonite, Joe wouldn't have had to win the title here because you're not putting the title on Hook. But if Joe was his kryptonite and then Hook actually came back and beat Joe at some point because Joe has beaten him 3 different times, you can actually elevate Hook off of him beating Joe. Now he's just in the ops, and I mean, Joe's obviously the top guy there. There's much more with Hobbs than there is with Hook, like way more with Hobbs than there is with Hook. And Shibata is there, but Tony likes Shibata, and he'll continue to just have matches and everything. I just don't know where Hook fits with this group. He wasn't there before. He was always kind of the third guy when it was Hobbs and Joe, and now he's still now he might even be the fourth guy. I think there was a better opportunity if you want to elevate him to do an actual program with Joe, and then he eventually beats Joe. But maybe they don't care to elevate him, and they're just like, let's just do this swerve here to do with Hook, and we'll go from there. And maybe he gets elevated off of this. History says he's gonna just kind of be in the same spot, and there's no upward trajectory here. But I'd love to be proven wrong.
I think it's fair. And I'm thinking to myself, if they bring Hobbs in as the fourth guy, they start treating him like the fourth guy. And then eventually Hobbs is like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out. and he just moves on. And they don't jump him out. He's just like, I'm out of here. The problem is he's got the trios title, but I guess they can do the whole, like, they got to defend the trios title once so that they can be champions as these 3 trios. You could play that game. Regardless, I see your point. Hobbs is a special talent, especially after that match he had with Hangman at Blood and Guts. They had a really good, fast-paced, Falls Count Anywhere match. So I want to see Hobbs elevated. It was like 5 years ago he turned heel, or did he come in or he had turned heel? Either way, like we're on 5 years of Hobbs. He's been around, and we haven't seen the best of what we can get from him. But we're also seeing that he is elevating his game to levels that we haven't seen yet. Granted, he was injured. He was out. But now that he's back and now that he's been performing, there is definitely a lane for him to come in and be a top level talent. We need to find where the elevation point is for him. And I don't think putting him in a title feud with Mimosa Joe right off the bat is the way to do it. I also don't think putting him against Hook is the answer, or Shibata. So for him to be like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out, it can work, but then he's got to find his way up through whatever separate story that is. So he might be stuck, or we might be missing something completely, and this turns into an actual, like, full-on Hobbs elevation attempt, and it works. But I don't know what it is, but I see your point about needing to find something to make Hobbs special again, or continue to keep special.
Yeah, you can keep Hobbs special as part of the ops. I mean, you got enough titles, just put one of those titles on him. I'm more worried maybe Hook, they see him in this role and they have no actual interest in elevating him. And if that's the case, fine. He's with the ops and they go from there. But if they did actually want to get something more out of Hook, I don't think just putting him back in the ops was the best thing. I do hope it gets explained why he decided to do this. Again, was he there the whole time, and was he effectively a double agent? Because he got beat by Joe. Him losing to Joe in those 2 matches set up Joe for this match and have them kept the trios titles. So who said that they could just freebird and Hook is part of the trio champion? I expect them to do that. I just don't think. I don't think
they were allowed to do that, because they don't do freebirding in AEW. Remember the last time they tried it with the Death Riders, it was like, you got to defend the title as this trio, otherwise you're not the champion. I get there was an injury involved, but like they haven't done a freebird story out of these titles. As
Are
far
you gonna tell Samoa Joe no?
yes, you are. You are, damn it.
Murder him.
It's going to be Tony Khan standing up to Eddie Kingston and he's going to give Joe a big hug. And he's going to be like, Joe, don't you try to make this difficult. And he's like, all right, boss. And then he hugs him back and gives him a kiss on the forehead and says, you always make me feel better. And then they talk it out because for some reason, Tony Khan's is going to talk Joe into submission. Let me tell you about your career. And then they're going to have the trios match that everyone agrees on.
I think they can freebird the titles. Yeah, it was Bang Bang Gang where they tried to do that, and they're like, no, you're stripped of the titles. And yeah. I think the Death Riders thing was Pac was injured, so they let Moxley defend the titles. So Joel was correct in that portion.
It was so there were two separate reasons why they haven't done a Freebird type of thing.
Yeah. I suspect they'll just let them Freebird it and Hook gets it. But I don't think that's like an elevation of Hook. It's just like, all right, he's 1/3 of a trios champions, which are titles that rarely get defended and get mentioned even less than that. That's why I think if you want to do like an elite against the Ops, I think it's something different and something a little bit better, but I just don't know if that's where they're going to go with things. I have no problem with Joe winning the title. Like Samoa Joe is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Samoa Joe is somebody who you put in any situation and he makes it more important than everything else on the show. He brings that kind of gravity to every single segment he is in. It's unfortunate that Hangman's reign was this. The work was good from Hangman. He had good matches against Fletcher and MJF, and in both the Joe matches were good. The rematch against Moxley was good. The work was good. The promos were solid. Some stuff maybe could have been better, but some stuff was still very good. But man, it felt like such a weak title reign after the build-up, the win it all in, and unveiling the title after it had been in the briefcase for so long. I mean, he got punked down on 2 main events for Jon Moxley matches. So Jon Moxley still felt like the biggest star on the show. I mean, Moxley kind of felt that way even on like the television show because like Moxley was involved in multiple segments while Hangman was only involved in a couple things. The MJF feud sometimes felt like it was more about MJF and Briscoe than MJF and Hangman. Again, the promo work between MJF and Hangman, they had some good segments, but it also just felt like it was too much of a backdrop at times with the Mark Briscoe stuff. And then the Fletcher stuff was good. The work was good. Fletcher wasn't super believable as a challenger just because he was the TNT champion. But I mean, Hangman said himself, he's like, you're not ready. So it was trying to be an elevation of Fletcher to show that he could get to that level. But he wasn't like an established guy that Hangman beat. He was a guy that won the TNT title because he beat Dustin Rhodes. Nobody looked at Kyle Fletcher before that as like, this is one of the top guys in the company. Nobody put him on that kind of level. It didn't feel like the greatest reign after all of the buildup with everything. And I think that's unfortunate. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes the chase is better than the actual reign. And it's unfortunate when that happens, but it does happen. I also just don't think they had the right guys established for him to be challenged by them. And it's just, the work was good, everybody. I know who he beat. The work was very good in this case. I just wish I didn't even need a longer reign, mind you. I think 1 year reigns and 8-month reigns and all this shit is just, it becomes too much. I don't love a 1 year reign and stuff because I do think those get a little bit too much, and then it's like, all right, you probably past the point of when you should have this title at this point. I just wish, like, even for as short as it was, he felt like a bigger deal than he did. Because too often, again, it's felt like the show still revolved around Darby and Moxley and their feud more than it was whatever Hangman was doing. That's what it felt like for the majority of his reign.
My odd man out on all this is MJF, who we talked about on Friday. We were, I wouldn't say under the assumption, but at least you could draw the line from Hangman to MJF, because MJF would have to come back. He'd have to declare his intention to challenge for the world title. And now you don't have a heel champion, and you've got MJF holding that contract. He does have the time. Like, he doesn't have to do it immediately. He could do it all the way up until July. But the idea being that it was going to potentially be sooner than later. So what does Max do now between the time he comes back and the time he challenges for a belt? And who's a champion by then? Does Hangman recapture the title? Is it a flip-flop? Which I wouldn't hate it. Ken Bruno was asking if an honest, he says, genuine question: does Tony know how to book a real babyface world champion? I'm not sure. And I'm looking back at the world champions, and it was like Jericho was a heel. Moxley, coming out of his first reign, was a babyface, and he had a long reign as well.
Yeah, he unfortunately had the pandemic timing, so I think that may have been partially to his benefit, but also to the detriment of you just didn't get those reactions every week. But the Moxley reign was good.
I was going to say, then he had Kenny after that.
Yeah, and Kenny was a heel.
Very good as a heel. It was a very good reign. And then Hangman won, and you got that big cathartic moment of him beating Kenny finally. And then Punk came in. And then we had the flip-flop between Punk and Moxley and the drama that surrounded that took away from the world title and put more emphasis on the backstage stuff that was going on. And then MJF wins, and people felt a certain way about the longevity of his title reign and the things that did or didn't happen. And it started off strong, and the way it ended was hobbled because Max was hurt and Adam Cole was hurt. And so things got really kind of mucked up. So you move on to Mimosa Joe at World's End in 2023. That was not a long. It says 113 days. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it was till Wrestle Dynamite. It was still April when Swerve beat him.
Yeah, and then Swerve winning was a babyface win for Swerve, right? Or was Joe was a babyface? I think Swerve was a heel.
Joe was kind of a heel during that whole thing, because Joe was just taking money, and whoever was gonna pay him, that's who he was going for there.
Yeah. Anyway, Swerve wins, and then Bryan has his reign, and it's a short reign, but the whole story being it's Danielson wants the title, well, didn't want the title, got the title, and then it was I lose and I'm gone. That was a good, quick in and out championship, and then Moxley and people have their feelings, and now Hangman got catharsis again. I think the story with Hangman continues to be, as a babyface, that I get beat down till the fans really, really, really need it. He is the face. He is the baby face. He is the guy that when you win it, you react. They don't have another guy other than maybe Mark Briscoe now, who has given you that much power in the character. And that's what needs to continue to be established in other members of the roster, to the point where they have to be undeniable when they win the title. Joe's timing of winning definitely threw people off. I agree with you, Jeremy, that it didn't need to be as long. It didn't need to be much longer. It didn't overstay its welcome. It didn't understay its welcome. It was fine. But I'm curious as to what Samosa Joe's purpose as champion will be.
Beat bitches up.
Honestly, that would be okay. As long as there's a story of it, I'm okay with it. So it's just, there's no wrong way to have Joe as your champion, because he's always going to be good at talking people into the room. It's just who you line up for him and the stories you tell with him. That will be it. Ken saying Ospreay could be the next undeniable champion. I can agree with that. You got to get him back, and you got to get people behind him again, which won't take long, but Ospreay is a really good shout. He can be that guy.
I like Joe as the champion. I don't know how long this reign will be. You mentioned MJF, and when he comes back, if it's not Joe, which I realize they're both heels, but also Joe ended MJF's reign, so MJF would have reason to go after Joe because of that. but like the Mark Briscoe story is still there for MJF, and now that Mark Briscoe is the TNT champion, like MJF could easily get into that. I just don't know where they're going with MJF when he does return, but there's always options for MJF. MJF, much like kind of like Samoa Joe, is like you put him with anybody, he can make it. He can make it work because the promo work, whether you like it or you don't like it, he's good enough to add some seriousness and some gravity to whatever he is doing. Sometimes he takes away from that, but for the most part, he does a great job of that. Swerve in the picture, obviously that's great. It does feel a little like, weren't we here in early 2024 with Hangman, Swerve, and Joe at the top of the card fighting for the title? And here we are going into 2026, and it's Hangman, Swerve, and Joe fighting for the title. And I got nothing wrong, like nothing against any of these guys. I love all these guys for different reasons. But this is what I was talking about with like elevating people to that next level and getting someone different in there. And I realize Ospreay being hurt doesn't help things right now. But this is where, unfortunately, O'Reilly being hurt, I felt like he could get elevated into something like this. Takeshita is somebody who should be elevated to this point to be into something like this. And right now, they're just doing other stuff. Again, the Elite. I don't know how much Kenny, when it comes to single stuff, can do, wants to do, but it definitely feels like this is something he could get involved in. But we have Hangman, Swerve, and Joe, and I realize it's a different story than last time. Hangman and Swerve are not trying to ensure that the other one is not the champion. They've both been the champion at this point. They're on the same page. Now they're going after the Ops and whoever the Ops potentially bring along, because Hangman and Swerve are top tier stars. Joe's a top tier star. They've done some work with Hobbs, but they also got to get Hobbs that signature victory that he really doesn't have right now. Shibata and Hook are Shibata and Hook. So I don't think they're not looked at certainly as, oh, they're going to be hanging with Hangman and Swerve. If anything, those are the guys that Hangman and Swerve are going to beat up on all of this. I don't want to forget about Eddie Kingston in caps. I said it on Twitter afterwards. I hope we're getting an Eddie and Joe feud out of this.
It feels like you might get Hangman and Swerve doing something else for a little bit to figure out who's going to go after a title, and Eddie being like, I'll step up, I'll beat the shit out, or even Joe just being like, no, neither, screw both of you, and then Eddie getting his way in because Joe thinks that Eddie is the weaker of the three.
I don't want to forget about Eddie Kingston. I hope we get an Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe battle. I hope we get promo work and then the actual match. I mean, Eddie's been what he's been since returning, but he's looked better each time out. And you go against Joe, it's a pretty meat and potatoes match to put together.
Honestly, you put that at World's End. Again, I don't put much into World's End because it's the end of the year. People are not paying as much attention. It's and again, not throwing AEW under the bus. It's just that is their one show a year where they can do just something and get away with it.
I mean, I think that's fine. World's End match. I don't know if I think it's a main event style match, but I don't know if they'll get into that being
Give me
the
a
main
women's
event. Oh,
give me Chris and I don't know who, but
yeah,
something.
Chris and who?
Oh, that's for them to get there. It's not up to me. You could Megan Bain. You could do Chris and Megan Bain, but is that a main event on a pay-per-view match? I don't know because they haven't built it. They haven't given me a build to it. On paper, yeah, people would like to see it. Those are two women who look like they could beat the shit out of each other. But again, if they don't tell the story, then they shouldn't have the last match.
You could maybe do, the storytelling might be janky here, but Chris, Mercedes, Tony, and Willow. Because it feels like if they are going to do a women's main event, Mercedes and Tony got to be involved somehow.
Yeah, I think you're right. again, we can have the favorites, we can have the people we like to watch, but it really does come out against the people who it really does come out to mean more with the people who react to them at the shows. Who's behind whom, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, sure, because it's not like New Year's is like 4 days later and people are either traveling or not paying attention. Like, come on, let's be real, Matthew. Come on, chill out. Like, it's not an important show. It's just not. There's a reason why, and we talk about this every year. There's a reason why even WWE, TNA, all the other companies stop working for television like by December 13th. The second week, nobody's thinking about paying for things. They've already bought the Christmas stuff. It's now more than ever. Jesus Christ, you've already paid for everything. You're like, I don't want to spend money for the next 2 weeks. So I get it. I don't think anyone really faults AEW for having the show, but they certainly aren't expecting like a breakthrough financial gate coming out of the show. It's just a show that they put on. They put it at the end of the year. I don't know why. I would just be like, relax. Don't do it. I celebrate 8 days, by the way, because I'm Jewish. That's what we do. And also, Hanukkah starts on the 13th. So really, everyone should just cease operations by the 13th to be done. John Cena's last match, everybody goes on holiday afterwards. WWE's doing it. Everyone else should follow suit. Stop working.
Yeah, the companies do kind of just... I don't think World's End is necessarily a throwaway show because they have the Continental Classic stuff on there.
That exists for a reason.
Yeah. But I mean, you look at, last year's World End was that 4-way match that no one could possibly care about. And then the year before was Joe and MJF, and nobody really thought Joe was going to win off of that. But MJF was so banged up that they almost, look what the show closing angle was for that World's End show a couple of years ago. World's End is not like a complete throwaway, but we also got to be honest of December for a lot of these companies, because it's a lot of taped shows, the energy just isn't there the way it is throughout the rest of the year. Like, it is a lot of taped shows at the end of the year, and you just don't have the same energy when it comes to that. You don't have the same, not necessarily importance, but the same attention to them. People pay less attention to the tape show overall. They might actually draw roughly the same, like as far as like viewership. I don't know about the holiday show. The holiday shows are always
We're
down.
Go through that in a minute. We'll talk about that in a minute, especially for this year.
Yeah, the holiday shows are always down, but it just doesn't pull the same attention. It doesn't feel like you are watching it together when it's like a taped show, especially during the holidays. Because if it's a tape show normal and it's just whatever, the week of or whatever, okay. But holiday stuff, yeah, people, there's not the same attention to it. There's less media being done as well. It's the holidays, man. Wrestling just takes a back seat. It's okay.
It's okay, but Tony's a super fan and he wants to give everyone the most. And I'm not going to fault him. It gives us what to do. Like, it gives us something. But from a financial standpoint, it's just like, no one's expecting huge moments out of this. And like Jeremy, you said, creatively, it's not like they've hit you with like the biggest angles going out of this particular show. Also, again, worth noting that AEW and WBD released basically like from December 13th, when I said everyone should take the rest of the year off, they released the amended schedule for AEW. And granted, yes, some of these are actually to our benefit because they're going to be across the pond for some of these events. So maybe they are just going to air them live from the time zone they're in. But Collision on Saturday the 13th, that's John Cena's last match. They're going to air Collision at 4:30 Eastern instead, as to not go head to head with Saturday night's main event. Wednesday, December 17th, Dynamite will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. Collision will be at 10 p.m. Eastern. And why does it have Countdown to World's End at 11 p.m. Eastern?
Countdown to World. No, that's right. Countdown to World's End is like 2 weeks before the actual show, so they better figure out their damn card. They can't even preview like the Continental Classic because they don't know the finalists by that point. So they got to at least have a main event by then to preview, but then you still have like weeks of television before the actual show. No, that's what they said. Okay. Countdown to World's End is way earlier than typical.
I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just very out of place. Collision's on Saturday the 20th. It's going to air at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. Dynamite on Saturday, the Christmas Eve, is listed at 6 p.m. Eastern, because that's what you want to do, is sit by the fire, eat your Christmas dinner and or Christmas Eve dinner and watch AEW Dynamite. Thank you. I'm Jewish. It doesn't matter. Christmas Collision is on Christmas Day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and there's no tailgate brawl listed for World's End. That could change, but as of right now, it's not there. And by the way, for those who watch TNA, the Turkey Ball match that is airing this week, Thursday, it will air at midnight on Access.
What? Are you doing a post show at 2:00 in the morning, Joel?
No, because I'm Canadian, and
Coward.
the show airs at its regular time in Canada, because Canadians have like 50 different Sportsnet channels to pick from. So no, if I do one, which I doubt I will because there's no reason to, then it would be on at the normal time. I'd basically be reviewing and spoiling TNA Impact for those who are watching.
Cares if you spoil Impact? No one could possibly care about that.
Wow, I see how it is. No, I get it. But yeah, all this to say, towards the end of the year, it's just it's just the end of the year. And then this isn't a WWE versus AEW conversation. It's just a 99% of media companies shut down for the last 2 weeks of December. Not even media, just companies. Like if you've ever worked in a corporate environment that's not retail, those last 2 weeks going into the holidays, it's like, go F yourself for a little bit. Just go do your own thing.
Football's on, basketball's on.
Pretty much.
That's what people are.
Hockey's on. Go chill out, vibe with the family. Like, wrestling's like, we'll be here for when you want to get the fuck away from these people. Okay, we're still here. We ain't going anywhere. And that's why I'm like, I don't care that AEW does it, but like, we're not going to sit back and be like, this is going to be the biggest show of the year. C2 is fun. It's always a good time. The matches are great, but we're not going to sit here and be like, wow, remember in the C2 when this happened? Because traditionally, it hasn't been like the biggest thing ever. People win, like Eddie wins the first year, and that was, and Okada won the next year, and it hasn't been like this huge outcome that the C2 brings. It's a fun tournament. I am a hater. I'm a Jamie hater. That's who it should be. Jamie Hater versus Chris Statlander for the women's title is the main event of World's End. That's it. Anyway. Okay. So that was Full Gear. I think overall it was a great show. They've been on a run of great show. No, you know what? Fun show. Again, I return to this every single pay-per-view. The fact that I can just pause it and get back to it on Sunday when it's a Saturday show is helpful. If it's a Sunday show, I can pause it and get back to it Monday morning after I drop the kid off at school. Those things help me enjoy the show a little bit more. I'm sure if I sat there for 5.5 hours, I would have been burnt out and just not a fan. If I was doing a post show, I would have been miserable, but I wasn't, because I was able to enjoy it when I wanted to enjoy the show. So as a result, I thought Full Gear was a very good show. Thought there were a lot of strong points. Thought some of the weaker points are just ones that are the typical expected AEW things that happen. And I'm interested in what Dynamite's going to bring us, because you have some stories to tell. Wrestling, C2, that shit. Stupid, silly wrestling shit. Ricochet was right, man. Don't pay for this wrestling shit.
I appreciated their shortness on the press conference. I told Tony, get this thing started by 1, end this thing by 2, and he listened to me. He went a little bit over 2, but that's because he wanted to make sure everyone got a question. So I can't fault him for that. It was only 7 minutes, not like it was like half an hour, went up till 2:30. But it started by 1. I was very excited that it started within a half hour of the actual show ending. And yeah, it went about just over an hour, which, okay, I can live with that. They've done a good job with getting the wrestlers in and out and doing quick questions, and the wrestlers get a quick answer and then you go. Tony's still a little wordy and he's got to give you the history of everything, but he's gotten better overall when it comes to that. Just, again, if it starts at a decent time, it's fine. But it was done by 2. I was very happy with that. I do wish they would still not have the pay-per-views as long. Or again, make them long. Said it before. Don't care if you want to do a 5-hour show. Start that main show at 7. That's all. That's all I'm asking. Do your 5-hour show. Just start it an hour earlier.
Do the afternoon starts, man.
Oh, yeah, they were much better.
So much better.
But then they want to do 7-hour shows on the afternoon.
That is the problem.
So it still all ends at the same time.
Yeah, it's fair. Tomorrow SB3 is gonna. We're still gonna preview Raw, but just to put a cap on.
We got a lot to get to still.
Do we? All right. Well, we'll get to that. Tomorrow, SB3, when he is on the show, he was there live. He was at Full Gear. He was in the media section. He was at the scrum. So he will give that perspective, which should be a totally different approach to what we did because we watched it on TV and he got to see everything in front of his eyes. So that'll be a really good conversation for Jeremy and SB3. What else do we have to go through? Because we got to preview Raw, but what else?
Well, a couple of things. We're going to do a production meeting on air. Are you? I'm not moving to the West Coast. I got too many kids to move to the West Coast. I mean, I've thought about it like years ago.
Thought about it. We thought about BC at one point, and I was like, it's expensive.
Not anytime recently have I thought about. Not any time in the last 5 years have I thought about moving to the West Coast. But sure, 5 years ago, yeah, it was certainly a thought. Not a very long thought.
Yeah, production on the air. Let's talk.
Okay, are we doing a show on Thursday?
Is Thursday Thanksgiving for y'all?
Yeah.
Do you have something planned?
I mean,
we don't have to. I could also grab somebody and do an In the Weeds A.
No. Like, I can do the show. I'm effectively asking, like, do you want to do the show? Because I don't know if SB3 does or can, but like I can. My lovely, beautiful wife is taking care of a lot of the Thanksgiving plans, and so I'm available to do a show.
I was going to say yes. This is going to sound like the corniest, dumbest shit in the world.
Oh my gosh.
No. I have a dentist appointment.
What?
I have a dentist. I could show you the receipts. I have a dentist appointment, and it's at 11:30.
Cancel that shit.
I can't. I have to do that one. Sorry.
Cancel it.
My kid is legitimately going to the dentist on Tuesday. I am going to set a good example and go on Thursday. So I can't. I wanted to, but I cannot do it. And it's not like we can ask Kimmy because Kimmy's going to be running the show of shows up in Winston-Salem.
Thumbs down for Joel.
I know. I'm sorry, folks.
Everyone
I would love to. Is Pal Driver saying I hate Thanksgiving? I actually quite like Thanksgiving, but we celebrate it in October like normal people.
Yeah, Joel's like, oh, I can do a Thursday show and review AEW. No, never mind. Dentist appointment all of a sudden.
I'd rather have my teeth drilled than talk about AEW.
Literally.
Setting this up and canceling it yourself. Fair.
Well, I'll see if SB3 can do a show or wants to do a show. If not, then I guess no show on Thursday.
If we got to split it, then I could do that too. I could take first hour, SB3 can come in because again, my dentist is down the street. It's not far. So like if we want to split it, we can talk that or we can figure something out.
Okay. Let the record show. I'm around to do the show, everybody. Mr. No Days Off over here, even the holidays.
I've never been no days off.
Joel,
Fred Rosser over here. My name
Joel is getting.
I want to
faking dentist appointments, and SB3 is probably like spending time with his family and actually doing Thanksgiving stuff.
I don't know about that. I don't know where his family's going to be. That where he's going to be.
I'll give SB3 a valid excuse. You don't have a valid excuse.
No, I'm Canadian, so I don't need an excuse.
Dentist, get out of here.
My question is going to be how the holidays look because that's going to be fun. Kids off from the because we're a 5-day-a-week outlet now anyway, but like Christmas is on a Thursday, New Year's Day is on a Thursday, and yeah, we'll figure it out. We will. I just know that my kid's going to be home for those 2 weeks effectively, so we'll have to sort out what that looks like.
Fuck them kids.
Oh, brother, don't fuck the kids. It could be a real problem.
I would love to do a call-in show. I think that would be
We've
great.
Looked into it.
Yeah, I just don't know like how it's gonna work.
We have looked into it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I can do it with this Rodecaster board. I know I can't. I can plug in a phone and have people call in, but we don't have anyone to screen calls. We don't have a number that we can call to have people do it. And Google Voice doesn't operate up here, so I'd have to do a VPN and everything. It is a whole production. I want to do it, but I need to find a way to do it where we're not going to be like Grace is saying, use Discord. I'm so nervous that we're going to get people just being complete assholes on the phone. Wrestling Observer Live doesn't. They've started doing fewer calls and more texting. So I thought about doing that so that I can screen the text live on the air, but it's no different than
it's
reading the chat.
Chatting. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, yeah. So we'll see. I'm not against doing it. I actually really like it, and I know that once a year we do the open forum for one of our shows for the end of year chat, and we let our friends come and join us. We'll use a different link for that particular show, Jeremy, and we'll enjoy that. But yeah, doing a call in, definitely, and wanting to do it, we just need a proper like producer to be on the phone for that.
I do like the idea of just like sending it to a few people, and
yeah,
mainly the people in the Discord. We like you guys. I don't know some of these people. I don't know that well.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if I want to get these numbers out. We'll see. Working on some guests for this week. Got a couple lines out. I think we will have at least one of them this week. Maybe more. We'll see.
Not on Thursday, because apparently we're not doing a show on Thursday.
Well, I mean, we might. Just maybe
Can we get your dentist on the show?
I don't even know who my dentist is. This is my first visit to this particular dentist.
Oh, well, that'll be a really riveting conversation then.
It's a teeth cleaning. We're just trying to use my wife's benefits before the end of the year.
Okay.
Have Macklin and Deanna do the show. Honestly, if I can get them to do a live boots to boots on our In the Weeds channel, I made a joke because Cam Hawkins was like, I'm going to be going back to podcasting in 2026. And I was like, well, this wasn't how we wanted to announce that Cam is going to do the weekend ITWs with Steve Macklin and Bishop Dyer, but I guess here we are. No, Cam is not the weekend host, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to do a weekend show.
We do.
That's
it
one time.
Us holding it.
That's one time where I gotta actually like take a day off and
that won't be you.
Not do this show.
Honestly, my dream would be to have two relatively established wrestlers run it.
Yeah, but they gotta get paid. That's the issue.
I said relatively established, not not rich. We don't have XM money. What the fuck do you think I am? I'm looking at cheap trips to Winnipeg for God's sake.
All right, what was your moment of the weekend, Joel?
Forks and screw babies. Forks and screws. Those forks and screwdrivers. Just gotta add the extra thing. Pay-per-views. Too much time spent on pay-per-views. And overly produced mumbo jumbo.
That's like multiple moments.
I know. If I had to narrow it down to one, blood.
Okay. Just all of the blood.
Just so much blood.
Yeah.
Even
Paul London and Shaza would actually be really good as
hell yeah
the weekend hosts.
Do we have to? Oh, I don't know if Paul's going to show up on time.
Yeah, Paul's been pretty good about showing up on time. I don't know what you're going to
get. Now
we're
going to ask him to do it every time, and that's going to be a whole other conversation.
Yeah, true. My moment of the weekend was Jon Moxley titty forking Kyle O'Reilly.
As one does.
That was just hilarious. My favorite moment from the whole pay-per-view is the titty forking.
We have a Raw tonight, by the way, in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, oh, well, I like the Oklahoma City part.
There you go. At the Paycom Center, home of the Thunder.
That's right. Proper title, please.
Thunder up.
Proper title.
What? Paycom Center, home of the NBA 2024-2025 champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You need the Thunder up, but you do need the proper title. I got the kids doing that now. I was like, what's the
tyrant?
They call the Avs the 2022 Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, and they call the Thunder the 2025 NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. I was like, you got to call them by the proper names.
You people are awful. It's on Netflix, 8 p.m. Eastern. 2.5 matches announced. We'll get to that in a second. Becky Lynch will speak. Dominic Mysterio will speak. Brock Lesnar will appear. Get ready for that. Roman Reigns opens the show. I wonder if Brock Lesnar will appear when Roman Reigns opens the show. The men's War Game Advantage match is the half because we don't know who the participants are yet.
Yeah.
I'm assuming who's in that. I'm assuming it's going to be like Jey Uso versus
Jimmy's taking the L. Yeah, because the men are the heel team's getting the advantage.
You're right.
I think it'll be like Jimmy and Bronson or Braun. Ain't gonna be Brock.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Bronson, Jimmy and Bronson.
Yeah, it'll be Bronson or Braun.
Yeah. Anyway, so have fun with that. And then last time is now tournament Solo Sikoa versus Penta and Gunther versus Carmelo Hayes. That's tonight. I didn't think they were doing that quick.
Sure.
Cool. Well, there you go. That is the current plan for tonight's Raw as advertised.
Apparently, it's a tag match for the advantage. Okay, then Jimmy and Jay
will
lose.
Why is this the tag? This is the funny thing. So the men's War Games match is supposed to be like the All-Star tag, whatever. It's the All-Star War Games if you want. Meanwhile, the women's one is more based in the tag team division. So why didn't they do a tag team advantage match for the women when it's a bunch of women's tag teams involved?
Because Charlotte had to beat Asuka again in a
Charlotte had to
singles
beat
match. Spoiler.
Son of a bitch. Well, at least we're back. Anyway, that's Raw tonight. Enjoy the tag team matches and such. Sure. So something. Listen, honestly, Gunther and Carmelo Hayes, that could be a fun match to watch. It's going to end with Carmelo Hayes, eating a sleeper and people being all upset that, Melo's not going all the way to the final of the last time is now tournament, but such is life.
I was surprised he beat Bronson. I know it was by count out, but the fact that he still won that match and got to the next portion was at least something for him. Yeah, I don't think he's going to beat Gunther, but hopefully they have something for him after this. I don't have a whole lot of faith, but fingers crossed.
Very excited for the Miz to not go farther than Melo in this tournament.
Oh, dude, Melo's he's gonna be in the sleeper and he's gonna go like that and then tap
out. He's gonna do it. You just know it. He's gonna tap 6 or 7 times.
What dumb. Sucks.
Yeah, well.
Sucks. What did we accomplish today, Joel?
Blood, forks, screwdrivers, barbed wire, chains, steel cages. These are the things that create champions. Also, if deathmatch wrestling isn't for you, maybe you just have to go and attend a deathmatch invitational. That might turn you around at the end. But if everything is all lost and you have nothing to look forward to, you can always turn to an overproduced segment in which nothing gets accomplished, but you reiterate that, yes, you're friends again.
I'll tell you what we didn't accomplish today, folks, and that is learn the ratings of the Tailgate Brawl for Wrestle Dream. That is what we did not accomplish.
We were let down. I can't tell you by whom, but man, we were let down. Anything else left to plug?
Well, we didn't get $10,000, but I said I would, still commit to some of the bits. So I do have a plate of blood that may or may not be actual blood.
Mix it with mana.
We will. Ooh, could you imagine mixing like this with mana?
Wouldn't be the first time.
Something. Ketchup and mana?
Tequila. To ketchup?
That sounds terrible.
Kenosuke to ketchup?
All right, we've got I don't want to drop it on my computer or anything. You know what I mean?
Don't do that.
Ketchup's like kind of nasty on its own.
I'm very well aware. I have a child who's like, I want a bagel with ketchup. I'm like, no, you don't. You just, a little bit there. Yeah. Oh.
It's not showing up. There we go.
Oh, it's there. It's there. Yeah. Yeah.
Go like
Some people are getting off to this.
That sounds terrible.
Well, sounds like a thing.
All right.
Do we have a top weed? That has been a question asked in the chat. Has anyone been keeping track this month?
It's not the end of the month.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
And when someone does a Thanksgiving sale on their Cameo, we will hop in. Oh, and the screwdriver. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you got to lick the thing.
I'm hardcore. I'll take the both of them.
Oh, Jesus. Thanks, Tommy.
Hold on. Let me go this side. All right.
You're painting here?
Oh, I'm stabbing myself so the blood comes out.
Oh, right. No quarter ketchup crew. Oh, thank God NXT is taped this week.
There we go.
Netflix is going to throw that thing up at 7 a.m. and we're all just going to watch it and be done with NXT for another week.
7 a.m.?
You know what they do. They just it's a taped show. So they're just going to, here it is. And that'll be that.
All right. If I did a double stabbing here.
Oh, God. Why are we doing this?
Oh, hold on. I got to at least position it correctly. Oh, wait. Let me go the proper sides. Someone take a screenshot. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're doing this. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Hot.
All right, there. Stabbed myself. Just smeared all in. I want to get in my hair. I got to take a shower now.
Yeah, you're going to take a shower. First time for everything. Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, yes. Grays is right. SmackDown is also taped this week. Finish that thing in 90 minutes, baby. Finish it in 30. All right, I think we're good.
All right, I've run the blade, everybody.
I'm a little bit sick having watched that. And here we are. Anything to plug?
No.
God bless. We did it, baby. We're almost at 3 hours, so let's kill the next
Yeah.
45 seconds.
Yeah.
AEW is not taped. I wish it had been. So, well, actually, Triller would probably air it 3 hours after the regular airtime because that's just what they do. At least when WWE has a Netflix thing, because again, Canadian, we can watch it at like the stupidest times. I watch wrestling at 2X. Man, I watched Full Gear mostly at 2X. It was fantastic.
Wow.
What?
Oh, we do have to give the results of our poll. Yeah, God.
Oh, yeah. Chat's going at you, man.
I know. Fuck you, Ryan. Chat's being some assholes today. I tried to deliver a poll question for the people, and they just bury me for it. Favorite part of
Get off his
What?
pole, chat. Get off his pole.
Favorite part of Full Gear, 15% said the Elite Reunion. Yeah, those dorks. No one could possibly care. 24% said Mercedes and Stats. 28% said Joe winning the title and Swerve returning. And 33% said blood. Thank you to everyone who voted in the poll. Fuck you to everyone who criticized my poll.
You know who doesn't criticize? Anyway, we're back tomorrow. SP3 and Jeremy. SP3 will give his live report from Full Gear and, of course, a little bit of Raw, assuming it doesn't end in a DQ. And if it does, then I guess you're just going to get another Full Gear review, and you'll just have to sit back and take it. Take Jeremy's poll, take Jeremy's review, enjoy every minute of it. Anything left?
No.
All right. For Jeremy, you know who he is. You know who I am because I just told you who he is. Leave a thumbs up on the way out. Ladies, gentlemen, friends of me on the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.